video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine, lots of heat. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 80s to lower 90s. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, overnight lows, low 60s north. Maybe a shower or two further south with overnight lows near 70, low 90s on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 68 days.
Knowing Skeens probably won't pitch again. Believe me, if Skeens pitches again, it'll be the biggest controversy the College World Series has seen in 10 years.
Even in Game 3? You don't think
you might see him for an inning or two. I would be surprised.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. College World Series Game 3 of the championship series tonight between the LSU Tigers and the Florida Gators. Gators demolished LSU yesterday 24-4, hoping for a better Game 3 tonight. I know people are wondering about Paul Skeens. Jay Johnson was asked following the game yesterday, say that they're going to kind of update this later on today, kind of see where he's at, but I know that's one of the big question marks tonight. In addition, can LSU bounce back from getting demolished by the Gators?
If Game 3 is anything like Game 1, we're in for a treat. Game 2, not so much. But, wow, we've had a couple of just doozies in Omaha so far. It's Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and never any extra or hidden fees that they don't tell you about up front, because there are no fees. No dock prep fee, no delivery fee, no cleaning fee, none of those extra things you may find elsewhere that are just basically piling on at the end of the transaction. The price they give you is the price you're going to pay at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So 24-4, not a typical baseball score. And again, the Gators, 23 hits, 19 earned runs, 23 unanswered runs. At one point, they were down 3-1 in the second inning, and then they just got hot. They didn't score in only 2 innings of that game.
Yeah, LSU had the early lead, 1-0. I'm watching, then Florida comes back and scores another run in the second. So, I mean, this wasn't like from the get-go. And then LSU scores again. I mean, there was, like I said, the pitching both ways, but Florida's pitching was better. LSU couldn't find an arm that couldn't keep Florida off. And I think what Florida, if you watch the end of Game 1 and the way that ended, 11 innings, they sat there and watched. They didn't exit the dugout. They didn't get out of there. They watched LSU celebrate. Now, LSU didn't celebrate like they'd won the national title, but you could see from a few of the camera shots they went to, They were soaking that in. I just wonder if that provided some motivation the next day at the plate, because obviously Florida went off and they had a 6-run inning, a 5-run inning, and it became obvious late that LSU had sacked the bats, called in the dogs, whatever you want to say, because they knew they weren't going to come back in that one.
Cade Beloso was the hero in game number 1. Man. He hit that one in the 11th, and I did see his father. His father's name's Rodney, was cooking a full gator prior to Game 2. Obviously, that juju, or whatever you want to call it, didn't help the LSU Tigers in game number 2 as they get smacked around, but a chance to respond. And this will be something we address, again, coming up in the show. But I hate the best pitcher, a Golden Spikes. Dylan Cruz ends up winning the Golden Spikes Award. But I hate that we're probably not going to see the best pitcher at full strength, if at all, tonight in Paul Skeens because of the College World Series Championship Series just being collapsed into such a weekend. And I think that needs to be adjusted.
And you mentioned the hero and the home run, and you're right. But, man, another hero to mention from that game is the left fielder. I don't remember. Pearson was his last name. That snare he made, leaping, you talk about how close you may be to a national title. You go back and – did you see that play?
You're talking about the LSU outfit
or
Florida? I missed that one.
Holy smokes. He leaps. I mean, he's like a wide receiver. It's like Dwight Clark reaching and getting the football in the back of the end zone at the right moment. That ball is an inch higher. His jump's 2 inches off. What if he doesn't time that just perfectly? Florida gets the runner home probably. That ball goes to the wall, bounces off. There's no way they get that in. That was as big a play as the home run. I know we focus on that because that scored the run. But without that play, you never get to that point. Most likely, Florida wins that ball game. They may very well be national champions this morning.
Well, the LSU Tigers are the favorites tonight on the Bet Saracen app. 1.5 run favorites against Florida. So even after getting demolished yesterday, Vegas Bet Saracen still likes them to get it done. What do you think is going to happen tonight? 877-377-6963 is our number. I mean, there's really nothing.
What did you say those odds are there?
They're 1.5 run favorites.
Okay, and plus 120 for LSU, minus 150. If they come out and announce Paul Skeens as the starter, I'll be interested just to notice, do those numbers move at all? Because I'm assuming they're factoring that in, that he won't pitch much. And I don't think he will, but we'll see.
As of this morning,
national title on the line, that's where they'll probably have to stop him from pitching. But
yeah, and I do wonder for Johnson in this situation. And think about, now it worked out for Arkansas. Let's just take our own example. So in 2018, it worked out. Blaine Knight was your alpha that year. And it worked out where it timed up where he pitched game one, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't have to pitch because they just kept winning. They went 3-0, and it timed out perfectly. But let's say that Arkansas was in a situation where he had to pitch twice over the course of 4 days or whatever, and then a chance to pitch again. I mean, how do you think Dave would have handled that situation? Because if Blaine he's going to play professionally. Now, he's not as highly regarded as Paul Skeens, but, I mean, if the kid says, I want to play, I want to try to win a national championship, I don't know if you're Johnson, even though he's going to be a big leader. I mean, how do you tell him no? How do you sit him down, right? I know it's
particularly when it's your first as head coach, when it's your first, and it's not first as a program, obviously, for LSU, but if you ask from Dave's perspective, and listen, I'm not going to pretend to know enough about what one pitching performance could do for someone's career, and I understand the term big league arm and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But your job as the head coach is you got to take care of those kids, and I understand that from a personal standpoint because you care about them, but also a recruiting standpoint. But then the balance to that, and the whole reason for the conversation is national title, big league arm, national title, big league arm. Maybe it's just a selfish fan of me. I'm going, hey, we're going to use you some to win a national title.
Because I think Pat Casey, former Oregon State head coach, got some criticism for pitching a guy in short days rest against Arkansas. I believe that was game 3, if I remember that right. And criticism is a part of sports. Coaches get it all the time. I understand that. But with the guy that is mocked up and as high as Paul Skeens is, that is a huge storyline. Hey, tonight we'll hear from Jay Johnson coming up. 68 days out, from Arkansas football. Still got a long way to go before that. We got some SEC storylines I want to get into as well. How far ahead the conference and the Big Ten is ahead of revenue right now. And it's nice to see 2 SEC programs competing for a national championship in baseball. You've been dominating some other sports as well. We would love for your team to be in. And I think another thing that we need to keep an eye on is, we didn't get a chance to get into this last week, but Bill Hancock, the college football playoff committee chairman, stepping down when his contract is up in February of 2025 following the first inception of the expanded college football playoff.
Well, I know it's getting close because my Phil Stills college football preview arrived in the mail last week. So seems a little thinner than it normally is, but maybe it's not. But you better get your magnifying glass out. You can read every page and all you want to know. So I've read the Arkansas page. That's about as far as I've gotten.
It looked good. He wasn't as high on Razorbacks heading last season. He was right.
He's got him because he puts them in the order of the pages order in your division is how he's got you kind of figured out, and he's got Arkansas 5th. So
okay.
I think it's Auburn and Mississippi State behind the Razorbacks. Hey, we're brought to you by Pradco this morning, made right here in Arkansas. It's the Rebel Crick Hopper. Summertime, it means for some great pond and creek fishing. You probably know someone with a pond that's loaded up with some big bass, and nothing like catching those bass or those bluegill with a young kid in a pond with like you do it with a Rebel Crick Hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that's been tricking big bass for over 100 years, and you need one of these around. It's great for some pond fishing, a 4 or 6 pound test line. You're going to have some fun. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, your favorite tackle stores everywhere. It's the Rebel Crick Hopper made by Pradco in Arkansas.
You also got an Arkansas basketball commit over the weekend. We'll tell you who he is and what he's going to bring to the table coming up on a Hot Take Monday.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best select
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, Sakale, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Woo Pig Suey, and it's fantastic when people call it. Now, if things aren't going well, sometimes they yell Woo Pig Fooey, and that isn't real good. That's bad luck. Calling hogs, they go Suey.
DePinion gets the call. Touchdown, Arkansas. Rashad DePinion with his first touchdown as a Razorback.
Do you enjoy watching Arkansas press conferences? Find all of them on our YouTube channel. You can hear from Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Razorback players. Just search Hit That Line and click subscribe.
Looks like Chandler Lawson could be the final piece of this basketball team this upcoming season. He committed over the weekend, played at Oregon, played down the road at the Memphis Tigers and Penny Hardaway. Hasn't signed yet officially from what I've seen, but at least you got a commitment from him at this point. Talk about what he could bring to the table coming up in just a bit.
Hey, if you're starting to mow that yard and that old mower's breaking down on you and not doing the job, you need to get by and see our friends at WT Equipment. They've got the Hustler Turf Raptor Series mowers and the Toro zero-turn mowers. WT Equipment is one of the largest Hustler dealers in the country. They have a huge selection in stock, and you'll notice it when you drive by or go by any of their locations. Hustler zero-turn mowers feature thick one-piece frames, welded steel decks for durability, and they're powered by Kawasaki V-twin performance engines. So you know you're getting something that's well-built, and you're getting an engine that will last and do you a great job for the life of your mower. WT Equipment's expert staff and large selection will ensure that you get the right equipment to meet your needs. Buy what the pros buy and buy where the pros buy. It's all at WT Equipment. Ask about 0% financing and find the best deals right now at WTpromos.com. That's WTpromos.com.
So he had modest stats last season, about 5 points, 4 rebounds, 20 minutes of play. But I know, like, when you see that, you're like, oh, he's not jumping off the page. But I did look back at Trevin Brazile, his freshman year at Missouri. Trevin's freshman year with the Tigers, he averaged 22 minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So it's not exactly like he's jumped off the page there, but obviously Eric Musselman, his staff saw something that brought him in. Trevin, by some, is predicted to be a first-round guy this upcoming season. Hopefully he recovers from the ACL. So I know when people saw him come over, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we got Trevin Brazile. But once he started playing for Arkansas, it's like, this guy's awesome. I don't know if Chandler's going to be that guy for the Razorbacks, but what I do like about him, Tommy, he has a 7'7" wingspan at 6'8".
Yeah, and, you know, I think you're hoping to get someone that was 6'10 or 6'11 that might have been a bigger, thicker guy just to balance your roster. But it sounds like this guy plays bigger than his 6'8 height. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, does it fit every need you have? No, but maybe that's the best fit you could get at this point. I'll be interested to see whether Chandler can factor into the leverage minutes, the big-time minutes that count later on in the season, January, February, March. You know, that will be interesting to see how this fits with the team and whether he's a player that is reliable for you and will play a lot come March.
You have now a roster comprised of 6 transfers, 2 freshmen, and 5 returnees. Last year, if you remember, you had only 2 returnees, 6 freshmen, and 5 transfers. So it's a little different from last year. I like the fact that there's a little more continuity this year than there was last year, and I'm excited for this season, as you all probably are. The question I have is, Tommy and I agree wholeheartedly on this, is your front line depth. When I talk front line, I'm more speaking to the 5 position. Makai is a straight-up center. He's banged, he's big, and he's been around the block in college basketball a bit. But you've got some skinnier guys in Bayfall and Trevin Brazile and Chandler Lawson, and Jalen Graham is a little bit smaller. So I'm curious kind of how, if you go up against some bigger guys, not only in conference play but in the NCAA tournament, which you're expected to make, how that holds up defensively, because I think you're going to be fine offensively, but defensively, that's a question mark I have to this point.
I saw where Muss is going to talk to the media, I think, today at 2 o'clock. So that will, all of this is going to come up, and that's the reason he's meeting. So I'll just be interested to hear his general comments. I mean, there'll be some good questions, I'm sure, but just I'm sure he'll talk a lot about the draft and being there and that experience, and Anthony Black and the 3 players that were drafted, with Nick and Jordan. But I'm sure there will be a lot of forward-thinking questions, forward progression type conversation. I'm looking forward to hearing, because at this point, yes, great, 3 Razorbacks got drafted. I'm turning the page. I'm ready to talk about what's going to happen, because you're 6 weeks? When do they start? I know there's an early practice period that will happen pretty much when school starts. 2 months, let's call it 2 months. Middle of August, they'll be getting after it. So a little bit less than that.
They've got the Bahamas tournament this year. That's where they'll be going. I know that some people are already making plans around that. And you've got, again, I'm excited. Kentucky will be unless something crazy happens, Kentucky will be at home this year. I'm excited to see the schedule when it does come out. There's, again, with Arkansas basketball being what it is right now, there's a lot of excitement around that. Really, basketball, surprisingly, I say surprisingly, it's been the only thing that the SEC has kind of struggled with relative to its own limitations. Men's basketball, not women's. The South Carolina Gamecocks in the Final Four, they fall to Caitlin Clark in Iowa this year. But when you look at where the SEC is right now in everything else, it's incredible. It's remarkable that they are competing at just an incredible. So you've got the baseball 2 teams in the national championship with Florida and LSU. Football team, Georgia, of course, wins. You had LSU win the national championship in women's basketball. Alabama was in the Final Four for women's soccer. The Florida Gators won the golf national championship in men's. And then Alabama goes to Oklahoma City for softball. So that's really the only thing behind. You brought up this article, you sent it to us last week, that the SEC and the Big Ten each are topping $2 billion in revenue, and there's a $60+ million difference between the revenue generated from the SEC and Pac-12 schools, which is it's an insane number.
There's so much money they're investing in all these other sports. I mean, in the day when your budgets were a third of what they are now, the money all went to football, a little bit to basketball, and everything else just, lived in the shadows. Now there's enough money where you invest in everything you just ran down. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you go hire the best, I guess now will be 16, but 14 coaches you can possibly get? You have the best 14, softball, soccer, gymnastics, go down the list of, the sports that aren't in the spotlight the whole time. I mean, over time that catches up to in performance, reflects that, championships reflect that. So what you're seeing is just like everything else in life, money matters. And it does in college sports, just like we know it does. Sometimes we don't want to, face that because, we don't always have the most money, the best facilities, able to hire the best coaches, the best recruiting grounds, on and on and on. But money matters, and that's what I see from everything you just went over there.
It continues to, and NIL and everything else, and all the sports, and that's why I kind of went down the list where SEC teams were competing, and not just competing, but winning national championships. It's not just football, y'all. I know when people think SEC, that's where your immediate head goes to, but you're competing across the board. Now, basketball, again, still needs to get better. You've kind of been lackluster as a conference when it comes to the NCAA tournament relative to what your other teams are doing across the board on campuses. But hopefully this next year in Phoenix, Arizona, you'll see at least one SEC team, maybe in red and white, in the Final Four.
But Florida Atlantic in basketball and programs like that, and TCU in football give you hope that you may not be able to do it consistently, but you can at least get there and have a chance, once every 25 years, but you still have a chance to make it happen. Brought to you by the Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. I can tell you they built some custom wrought iron gates at my house to go with my wood privacy fence that I had for years. They blend in well, they look awesome, and they work great. So if you want someone to build you some gates, whether they're powered automatic gates or like mine, just walk through gates from the different access points in your yard, they can do it for you. The Fence Man, 479-782-3936.
782-3936. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work.
When we return, Chuck joins us next on the Morning Rush. Excited to see what he thinks about the game tonight between the Florida Gators and the LSU Tigers.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
The Razorbacks have won it.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Summer is finally here, and with it comes the heat. Don't get caught off guard with a broken AC unit. Upgrade now with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to ensure a comfortable and cool summer. Get a new AC system before June 30th, and you'll receive a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. That's right, free. That's a value of over $1,000.
Thank you for choosing Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We'll take care of everything so you can enjoy a worry-free summer.
Upgrade your AC today and get a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. Offer ends June 30th. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
One thing that I think should not be lost in all of this, when we talk about all of these kids, no matter where they were drafted, they're playing in the NBA. They're professional basketball players at the highest level, and they're being paid accordingly. And they're not even 25 years old.
Jay Johnson has a decision to make tonight. He got asked about Paul Skeens' status following the Game 2 loss to Florida and gave kind of a non-answer. We'll get into what he said and bring Chuck in on the conversation coming up in just a sec.
Brought to you by Wheels RV on a Hot Take Monday. You're never going to get those hidden fees, those extra charges you weren't counting on. When they give you the price for your brand new RV, say $29,995, that's it. There's no dock prep fee. There's no delivery fee. There's no training fee. There's none of those extras that get piled on at the end that you just kind of accept and move on. Those all go to the bottom line at the other places. They don't do that to you at Wheels RV, and they give you a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell, so you can camp with confidence. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So, Chuck, we had 2 games of the College World Series Championship Series, Travelers Championship, Cardinals and Cubs split in London. There was over 110,000 people that watched those games in attendance. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, evidently it was a success in terms of that. I think they got what they wanted there. That was good. Hey, the College World Series has been fantastic, and it'll be fun tonight. Winner take all. Season ends tonight.
I mean, you think about the game with Wake Forest that LSU played, then game 1. Now, last night's game was decided in the middle innings and was over. But, man, we've seen – you talked about best game of the decade in that Wake Forest game. That game on Saturday in game 1, that's got to be somewhere in the conversation just because of the stakes. I mean, that was another just a dandy of a college baseball game.
Yeah, yesterday was kind of a one-off, really. Well, obviously it was a one-off. You don't see that kind of run production very often. No, the game Saturday night was a great game, and it was, it was one of those classics. I suspect tonight's game will be the same way. Now, I will say this: I was looking at the weather forecast for tonight, the wind, and northwest. It's going to blow to right field, 10 to 15 miles per hour. So buckle up.
Yeah, well. We were talking about, the home run that is the highlight everyone focuses on that game Saturday night. But, man, you think about that catch that Pearson, the left fielder, made, and just that's how close Florida is to maybe being the national champion today. I mean, that ball he perfectly timed that jump, and that ball's an inch higher, Florida wins that ball game. I mean, it's just how close it is.
We talked last week about the game within the game, positioning players. We never see it on the television screen, and you've got to look for it, even if you're at the ballpark. But they're positioning players on every play, and it worked out for him. The guy made a great play. He made a great play, season-saving play.
Yeah.
But that's what great teams do in those moments. They make plays like that. That's why they're playing for the national championship tonight. Now, yesterday they got into a situation where, they were up 3-1, and they were a base hit away, I thought. They had the bases loaded, and they were up 3-1. At one point, their starting pitcher yesterday in the 3rd inning had thrown 80 pitches to get 7 outs. I mean, LSU they were doing everything right, but they couldn't get that hit when it was 3-1. And when Florida got the lead, Jay Johnson very rightly started running the guys from the back of the bullpen in. He was running in the guys that he knew he wasn't going to use tonight. And the score got out of hand, and I figured it would, to be honest with you. And LSU, you could tell they packed it in by about the 5th inning. They were looking towards tonight. And it'll be a lot different tonight. I think it'll be nip and tuck tonight. I don't know if it'll be low scoring, but I think it's going to be close.
Had 23 hits last night. You seldom hear that or see that in a college baseball game. LSU is a 1.5-run favorite tonight, and we were talking about momentum. LSU got it in game 1. Do they get it back tonight? Who you guys like tonight?
Oh, it's hard to say who you like. I think it's going to be a great game. If Caglione pitches well for Florida, they're going to win. If he doesn't, I think it'll be a really close game. I think LSU needs some help tonight. Evidently, they're going to pitch Skeens a little bit. The question's for how long and when. But I think beyond that is really where the key is for LSU. They've got a righty named Hurd that's been pitching well. Cooper, the big left-hander, burly guy, he really was not very good down the stretch into the tournament in Hoover. But, man, he's been lights out in the NCAA tournament. To me, that's the key tonight. Look, Florida's got their pitching set up. Caglianone's ready to go. But Florida's not great in the bullpen. I mean, they're obviously better than everybody else, but they're not decidedly better than LSU. So I just kind of think this one's going to be decided by the bullpen tonight.
When Johnson got asked about Skeens after the game, here's what he said.
We do a process to figure that out, which we'll do, and that doesn't take place until day of game. So, yeah, we have to do that with all of them. I mean, you're going on game 8 in 10 days. So we have to be mindful of all that, and we will be, and we'll see who's available.
B texted in this morning. He thinks Skeens is going to go 3 innings, maybe up to 60 pitches. Does he make it even to that tonight, y'all think?
Well, it depends on how he pitches. If he pitches well, yeah. I think the question is going to be how do they utilize him. I would suspect they would start him because that's his routine. And you see lots of guys who are starters and they bring them in out of the bullpen and it's just different. Their routine's altered. And you think about what we all do. We all have routines. And so if they're going to pitch him tonight, I would guess they'd start him. Pitch him no more than 3 innings and then, turn it over to the other guys and hope for the best. Here's the thing. It is such a gray area tonight for Jay Johnson. His stomach's going to be churning in that dugout. Paul Skeens has thrown 243 pitches in the last 9 days. 243 pitches in the last 9 days. I understand what's at stake tonight. I certainly do. But here's the thing. Let's say something goes wrong tonight, okay? Let's say something goes wrong. And whether LSU wins or loses, life goes on for everybody sitting in those stands wearing a purple or gold jersey. Life goes on. If they're going on vacation next week, they're still going. They got a daughter getting married Saturday night, she's still getting married. Life goes on. But for Paul Skeens, his life is irrevocably altered. So there is a gray area here. And I promise you, Jay Johnson tonight is going to, and all last night and all today, I promise you his gut's churning over this. If it's not, there's something wrong with him. Yeah. There's a lot on the line tonight, but it's not just a national championship.
It's not just the conversation, the balance between national championship protecting the player, but also as a coach protecting the player from themselves, because I can't imagine Paul Skeens saying, you know what, I really don't want any part of this. Of course he's begging for the ball. So how do you protect the player from himself when he's begging you for the baseball?
Well, look, we all wanted to do things at 22, 23 years old that probably weren't in our best interest. And if we were lucky, somebody was there to say, you better not do that. Yeah. So, again, do I think he's going to pitch? Yeah, I think he's going to pitch. Because here's what's going to happen. You got the number 1 guy in the draft, 1, 2, or 3, whatever, and you're playing for the national championship, and he's watching in the dugout. That's something that you talk about forever. I wish him well. I think he's great. I think he's and I'm sure we'll get into this at some point this morning. When I watched Florida and LSU play, the thing that I kept thinking over the weekend was, how in the world did Arkansas win the West? How in the world did we tie for the championship? I think what Arkansas did, what the coaching staff did this year, is one of the more remarkable things I've seen, and my thought on that grows even more as I watch these two teams play. Let me tell you something. You talked about it, Tommy. Saturday night was as good a baseball game as you will watch, on the heels of as good a game as you will watch. And LSU's playing at a different level right now, and so's Florida. The two best teams in college baseball are going to duke it out tonight, and that's what we as fans, I think, have wanted.
We know what the records were in the regular season, but Arkansas down the stretch obviously didn't have their full arsenal, weren't fully healthy. Fully healthy, is Arkansas in a setting like this able to hang with these
we'll
two
never
teams?
know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
But it tells you how we've been just talking about the razor-thin aspects of national champion and watching at home for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And that's just how close it is. And, I mean, at least in football, you look at it and you say, well, we're a universe apart from some of these teams right now. Or at least I think that's the mindset of a lot of fans. In baseball, that's what makes it just hard because you know it's paper thin, the difference between what we're watching tonight for the national title and the program you have in Fayetteville.
You know, LSU's going to have 2 of the top 3 or 4 draft picks in the Major League Draft. They've got the Golden Spikes Award winner, and they've got the best pitcher in the college game. Arkansas didn't have that this year. You know, there weren't those guys. There just weren't. Doesn't mean the players that they had weren't great and that they didn't give everything that they had. And Arkansas had a great year, great teams, great coaching, nothing to hang their heads about. But there's not Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. There's just not.
But you still tie for the overall SEC record.
And that's my point. That's
so
my point.
What does that say about the job Dave actually did this year?
That's been my point the last 5 minutes, is that's what I think about. That's what I thought about Saturday night when I watched the game, was how remarkable it was that Arkansas was able to do what they were this year. Paul Skeens can brag about a lot of things, but he can't say a thing about beating the Razorbacks.
0-2. No, I know that one of those. I don't think he was actually.
Was he 0-2 or was he 0-1 with a no decision?
I was going to say one of those.
The games he started, Arkansas won both.
They didn't. So my point is that I think what Arkansas did was very remarkable, but I also think that Florida and LSU are a cut above.
That's really we were kind of going over the SEC. You look at what the SEC did this past calendar year in sports, where you have 2 teams competing for the national championship in baseball. Women's basketball had 2 of the Final Four teams. You had 1 in the College World Series for women's basketball. The football team, of course, wins it all. Basketball is really the only sport that is kind of lagging behind a little bit relative to its counterparts. That's really the only one.
Well, I don't think it's lagging behind. It just hasn't hasn't been in that winner's circle. Florida tonight, just to kind of prove my point here, Florida tonight, if they win, will be the first school in Division I to win multiple national championships in football, basketball, and baseball. Our league's done fine in basketball. Frankly, there are more teams competing for the national championship in the Final Four in men's basketball than there are in the other sports. There may be more baseball teams, but they're not all competing at that level. They're just not.
And if LSU wins tonight, they're the 3rd SEC West team to win a title in 3 years, and they're all 3 different schools. So,
yeah.
I mean, either way you slice it, there's an incredible stat to go along with it that's SEC based, you know, and how good and the quality of this league. Hey, we're brought to you by Farm Credit. If you have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate, which means your rate's going to change when it comes to term, now is the time to get ahead of it with Farm Credit. With kind of a temporary hold on the interest rates right now, now is really a great window to get in on that long-term fixed rate before rates may go up again, and lock in that rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in these changing times. In fact, they've got the longest terms in the ag industry. Hey, get more details at a Farm Credit office near you. Find one online, and I promise you there's one not far away, myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender.
We didn't get a chance to get into it last week. Bill Hancock, the College Football Playoff Committee chairman, is stepping down once his contract expires in February of 2025. That will follow the first ever 12-team playoff for college football, the first inception of that. And you think about the changing within college sports, the Big Ten getting a new commissioner, the NCAA getting a new head as well. I mean, that's really kind of the third big change within college sports in the last couple of years. Is that a better job than the SEC commissioner? Do you have more power there? I was thinking about that. Like Sankey doesn't even consider that?
No, not even close. I mean, you're an administrator. And Bill Hancock's done a great job of marketing the college football playoff, putting together that committee, and doing the job that the oversight committee gives him. But that's not a job that wields a lot of power, at least not in my opinion, Chuck. You're not making the decision. You're not the single hand that's putting teams in the playoff. This is a a very important administrative role over a very large function, but that committee's the one with the power.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comparing the college football playoff head job to the commissioner of the SEC, I mean, no. If you're comparing the president of the NCAA to the commissioner of the SEC, yes. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there, but that'd be my take.
Well, it's just, is that a job that would be appealing to Greg Sankey? You guys obviously don't think
no.
so.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
It doesn't
No.
pay. It doesn't pay a tenth.
No.
So here's the next question: is that appealing to a sitting athletics director?
Maybe.
Is that
Depending
something
on where
that
you're
would
at.
be more appealing? Like, would Hunter
Not at an SEC school.
Not in an SEC school? Okay. I didn't know if that was something that, based on the setup and the power that it
Bill Hancock's
wields.
done a wonderful job, but it's not like Bill Hancock was like, an athletic director or, a Power 5 AD who left that to go do this. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think Bill Hancock, again, is a good guy and has done a wonderful job, but I think his background basically is in media relations.
That he's been an administrator with the NCAA over the Final Four, and he's run events. He understood his background before that. He's a radio guy. I mean, he used to do what we do.
This is one of those positions that gets a lot of attention, and it's an important job, but it's not like being the president or the commissioner.
It would be
no comparison.
It would be more like being the president of a bowl game, being the president of the committee of a bowl game. I mean, it's a higher level than that, but you're going to take your cues as the person in this position from the conference coordinators and the presidents and the people that are on that advisory board. So this is more administrative. I don't want to say ceremonial because it's better. It's bigger than that. But this isn't. You're not wielding power that determines the course and charts the direction in the future of the sport.
Wait a chance.
Now, but the one thing that Bill Hancock has done, and the one thing he's been responsible for, particularly in the initial outset, and I know he had some help with it, but is getting the TV contracts lined up, and that's the biggest part of this job is dealing with the networks and getting the money. Now, he doesn't do that single-handedly, but that's the biggest part of owning this job.
Well, essentially, the head of the NCAA and the handful of powerful conference commissioners out there issue their directives to the person that runs the college football playoff,
exactly
and
right.
They execute them.
And one of the things that he was talking about when we had a chance to catch up with him last year at SEC Media Days is the initial thought prior to COVID happening, they were thinking about expanding, and then COVID happens, and they wait a little bit. And this was last summer, so I guess it was in 2022. He was speaking to the idea of they gave their recommendation to the board for the college football playoff, didn't happen, and then they have since expanded it this year. And so you thought this was going to be the 12-team playoff was going to have to wait till, was he under contract, 2026, I think, and now it's been moved up a little bit. So this has been quicker and expedited a little bit where we get the 12-team playoff than maybe we initially thought.
Well, I mean, everything's consumer-driven. So, I mean, COVID changed some things in that regard, and it's easy to go back now and say, hey, we were going to do this before COVID, and then COVID happened. I mean, you don't know that it would have passed. Have no idea. Bottom line is it's here now, and we'll see how it goes.
But who told them to get this expanded playoff format going? It was the commissioners and the presidents, and it was sir, and they moved on and got it done.
Well, the point being there, if the playoff committee was in charge, they'd have done it COVID or no COVID.
Yeah.
If they wanted it and they were in charge, they'd have done it then.
One of the other things that I asked him about was conference realignment, because the news of Texas and Oklahoma, of course, had broken. And here's what he said about that.
You have to remember that conferences have been realigning forever. Oklahoma left Oklahoma A&M behind in 1927. If you look at your history, you know that history repeats itself. And I think people would have thought, how can we have college football without Oklahoma and Nebraska playing on Thanksgiving? Well, we do. We still do. And it works fine.
I feel like I read a news story each day about a college that's being reported or interested in another conference. Tommy, we were talking about the revenue difference that's generated between a Pac-12 and SEC school. We've talked about, of course, Texas and Oklahoma coming to the lead next year. How quickly do we see more expansion with the Big Ten and SEC? Is that something we see before 2030?
Oh, I don't know how to answer that. Probably, I guess, would be the answer. But we're already talking about expansion again before the current expansion has even taken place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't see actually 16 teams in the SEC or USC and UCLA actually play games yet in the Big Ten. So, I mean, let's get to that point first.
Part of this is just a product of not having any games going on right now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what the biggest product of all this. This is nothing. This is nothing. There's going to be expansion. Sure, there's going to be expansion. I mean, that's how the game's played. The fact that there are going to be conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten have separated themselves so much from the others that there are going to be conferences that fail. And as a result, there are going to be teams out there. And you're going to have to go get them, really, whether you want to or not. The only one of the conferences that it looks like is going to make a real go of it beyond the SEC and the Big Ten is Big 12. Doesn't look like the others long-term are going to make it.
Yeah. See, we can talk expansion and who's joining what. I think the interesting conversation, at least from my chair, is will we get to a day soon where we see a conference kick a member out, remove them, vote them out at some point? I don't know what the price. And my answer right now is I don't think so. But I mean, why not
pay the legal fees to get it done and just bite the bullet?
We talk about adding fees,
I don't think in the SEC or the Big Ten that's going to happen. Now you may see it happen in some of the non-Power Fives, but I don't look at the landscape of our league, for example, and say these guys have got to go. I don't look at the Big Ten and say these guys need to be out of there. I don't see any of that. Now maybe, even with the Pac-12, you look at those teams out there. I mean, are any of them not worthy of being in a major conference?
They're just happy to have what's left right now in the Pac-12, hoping none of them leave.
But that's there are a lot of factors for that. But my point is that all of those are legit Power 5 schools. I don't see them kicking them out. Now, as this thing realigns, will there be teams left out in the cold? No doubt about it.
Yeah.
There already have been. And you better position yourself not to be one of those. Fortunately for us, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, we had someone that saw all this coming. And we're in a safe place now where others aren't. Yep. So, no, I don't think in our league, for example, or the Big Ten, I don't see it happen.
I tend to agree with that, but if you told me the Big 12 at some point decides, you know what, we're not going to keep BYU 5 or 6, 7 years from now. We're not going to keep Cincinnati. I could see that happening.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I don't because here's the deal. What are you going to do without them? You're not going to have a conference. You have to have them.
You're going to cut the revenue pie 2 slices smaller, but and maybe there's another option from another team. I don't know, but I just think everybody talks about expansion.
But the Big 12 in its current form, the Big 12 without this expansion is not a conference anymore. Now, it's not as good as it was without Oklahoma and Texas, but if they didn't expand with schools like BYU and Cincinnati, they wouldn't even exist. So, I mean, they have to have them. And everybody in a conference brings something to the table. You may not be good in football, but you're good in other things. You win championships in other sports besides football or men's basketball. And let's not act like we're one of the pillars of our league in football. We've been competitive, but we're not one of the pillars. We have been in some other sports. So, frankly, Arkansas, Missouri, some schools in our part of the world, we better hope these big leagues don't start kicking schools out because we might be one of them.
And Vandy better be happy they're in the Nashville market because that's always going to be attractive.
No, Vanderbilt's contributed a lot to our league, just not in football.
Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is their number. I know it's an 800 number, but that's a local number. That's who it's going to ring into a local office that can install Dish for you. And right now, if you're a DirecTV customer, they are going to give you $300 extra to sign up right now. And plans start at under $80 a month. You get the voice-activated remotes. You get the movie channels for free. At the very beginning, you get all the extras. for less than $80 a month and all the equipment, and you get a 3-year price guarantee, and if you're a DirecTV customer, $300 bonus dollars. 877-305-DISH for WOW World of Wireless.
Hour 2 of the Morning Rush is next.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Are you tired of cleaning out your gutters yet? Well, have I got some great news for you. Introducing the one and only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market, Leaf Guard, and it's guaranteed to never clog. Say goodbye to gutter cleaning forever. All right, picture this. Rain's pouring down, but instead of your gutters becoming a swamp of muck and mud and shingle grit, the water effortlessly flows through your Leaf Guard system. It's like magic, but better. And guess what? It's the perfect time to get Leaf Guard installed because they are having their annual half-off sale. That's right, half-off labor on a whole complete Leaf Guard system. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, we'll even tell you about our amazing 18 months no-interest financing. That's right. You can enjoy the benefits of Leaf Guard without breaking the bank. And we appreciate our seniors and military personnel, so we have special discounts just for you. New orders only. Other restrictions may apply and does not include material costs. So see our sales associates for all the juicy details. 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com. Leaf Guard, because life's too short to clean gutters.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Shop Meadows Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. A 2-pack of 16-pound original charcoal by Kingsford is only $19.88. Right now, a 3x5 cotton American flag by Annan is just $15.99. Complete your outdoor patio set with a Four Seasons courtyard, sunny aisles, extra large, zero gravity chair for $59.99. A 108-piece mechanics tool and socket set is $89.99. A 10-piece screwdriver set by DeWalt is just $19.99. Don't miss out. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber True Value.
Summer is finally here, and with it comes the heat. Don't get caught off guard with a broken AC unit. Upgrade now with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to ensure a comfortable and cool summer. Get a new AC system before June 30th, and you'll receive a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. That's right, free. That's a value of over $1,000.
Thank you for choosing Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. We'll take care of everything so you can enjoy a worry-free summer.
Upgrade your AC today and get a free duct cleaning or indoor air quality upgrade. Offer ends June 30th. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
The Golf Nut has everything you need to make 2023 the best year ever. In stock now, Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons along with Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons. Demos are available. Schedule a fitting today. The new Titleist Pro V ones are here. Golf lessons are available. Call the shop and book a time or just play a round of golf on one of the many courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Attention car shoppers. In the market for a new ride? Look no further than Road Chevrolet Van Buren, your trusted destination for great selection and unbeatable prices. We have dozens of new Chevrolets on the way waiting to land in your driveway. Reserve yours today and don't pay 1 penny over MSRP. Have a car to sell? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your car even if you don't buy from us. Getting a hassle-free appraisal only takes a few minutes. Buying or selling a car doesn't have to be a stressful experience when you deal with the pros at Road Chevrolet Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine, lots of heat. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 80s to lower 90s. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, overnight lows, low 60s north. Maybe a shower or two further south with overnight lows near 70, low 90s on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 68 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Knowing Schemes probably won't pitch again. Believe me, if Schemes pitches again, it'll be the biggest controversy the College World Series has seen in 10 years.
Even in Game 3? You don't think
you might see him for an inning or two. I would be surprised.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
6 o'clock tonight, the deciding game between the Florida Gators and the LSU Tigers for the College Baseball National Championship. Hopefully it'll be more like Game 1 than it will be like Game 2, where the Gators crushed LSU in a 24-4 victory. We're going to talk more about that coming up, but I do want to address Arkansas's latest basketball commit filling their roster in just a sec.
Hot Take Monday, always brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best selection of RVs is even better as Brinkley's been added to the lineup over the last few months. Every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty and never any hidden fees at Wheels RV. Go by and find out why they were again voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Guys, I know Friday Arkansas basketball conversation centered around Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., and Ricky Council ending up in their NBA franchises. But the big news for the team this weekend was Chandler Lawson committing to the Razorbacks out of the Memphis Tigers, and then also played at Oregon as well. Tommy, final spot on the roster, at least, has been filled. I'm going to talk with Musselman later today to see if he's actually officially signed with Arkansas.
Yeah, my guess is he wouldn't talk with the media at 2 unless he could talk about his entire roster. So we'll learn more, and I'm sure there will be a lot of the conversation around the draft and that experience, and but I'm more interested in hearing about moving forward and the players he's got. So that's the part of the conversation today, Chuck, at 2 o'clock. I'm going to listen intently to is where he thinks he's at for this year.
Yeah, numbers-wise, it sounds like it's up. I don't know. I guess we'll find out again. Are all these guys signed, sealed, and delivered? And he'll talk about that some. I think it's probably, I think he'd love to talk about just the NBA draft, but I'm sure he'll be asked about, what the roster is going to look like and stuff this year. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say.
It's a little different than last year. Last year he had 11 new incoming players, 6 freshmen, 5 transfers. This year you have 5 returnees, 6 transfers, and 2 freshmen if this ends up playing out, if Lawson ultimately signs in Fayetteville. So the complexion of the roster looks different. We talked about how this is going to be more prevalent in college basketball, less freshmen, and at least in Arkansas's case, it's kind of bearing out what we've been saying.
Well, I think we're seeing, too, you look at the teams that were successful last year, most of them had a mix of returnees and new players. And that's really the thing that I like best about this roster. Some of these guys didn't play a lot other places, and I don't know if they're going to come in here and play a lot, just to be real honest. So we'll see how that works out. But I think they know who their big guns are going to be, and I think some of them have been here and some of them haven't.
Still takes 10 to practice. Still need 10 to have great practice. So, sometimes you just need players to help develop your 7 or 8 or 6 or 7 or whatever it ends up being that play the high leverage minutes, the big minutes in February and March.
I think in Chandler's case, he comes in with pretty modest stats, 5-5, played about 20 minutes a game last season. But I was telling you earlier,
I noticed the 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
I noticed the 5 rebounds,
and
that to me tells me this is a guy that's willing to mix it up. He's a banger. If he didn't play a whole lot of minutes, it tells you there are lots of parts to his game that need to be improved. I mean, there's a reason you don't play, but the 5 rebounds per ball game are what gets my attention.
Well, he's also got a 7'7" wingspan, which I think when you think about that, a 6'8" guy with a 7'7" wingspan, that's pretty unique.
Well,
and
lots of guys have big wingspans. Question is, can you play?
Yeah, and like I said, we were talking about Trevin Brazile. So when Trevin initially came over from Missouri, he had decent stats. He had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and now there's people that project him as a first rounder. So the developmental aspect that we've spoken to with Arkansas basketball, you're hoping that while Chandler maybe wasn't the most highly coveted player, he's a guy that at least has some attributes that Eric Musselman and his staff can work with and maybe transform a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I know Trevin Brazile was highly thought of coming out of Springfield. I'm not as familiar with this player as I am Brazile, so we'll see.
Yeah. And now assuming everything, like you said, is signed, sealed, and delivered, you got certainty with your roster, and you've got some fun stuff coming up. You got that trip to the Bahamas, Atlantis, the Battle for Atlantis that's coming up. Poor old Chuck's got to go there this year, and he has Hawaii last year. I don't know. I mean, you going to file a complaint on all these trips?
I don't know if I'm going to, honestly.
You have a grievance?
I'm not sure I'm going to get to make this one. This one's different than the Hawaii tournament. This one's played Thanksgiving Day, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh.
And we got a football game on Friday. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I may have to lobby or something. We'll get the ESPN Arkansas private plane working. Think we can fly that thing back from Nassau?
Yeah, absolutely.
If we fly it real low,
yeah.
And stay underneath the radar,
Nassau,
you think we can make it back?
Nassau, that's up there by Grove, up there near Miami.
It is.
Miami.
Over there by Grand Lake.
Oh, different Nassau.
Yeah,
I would say Phil would fall on that sword, but I think the women's basketball team traditionally plays a tournament around that time.
Well, Phil missed Atlantis last year, too, because of football. So Phil will be mad at me if I figure out a way to get there.
Oh, man. that was.
I don't think it's going to happen. But I'll have my passport ready just in case.
My dad was contemplating taking this to Atlantis when we were kids, but it was just astronomically expensive, and I've seen some of the price ranges and stuff. It'd be a cool trip, but
hey, I'm willing to go if someone else is paying. I'll just say right now I am available.
You're gonna do it
if someone else is paying for it. So that's a fun place, though. I hear. So
yeah, and
but like you said, not cheap.
And this will be, I think, the inaugural year. We still haven't gotten the update on who Arkansas is going to be playing in the ACC for the first ever kind of SEC ACC challenge, because the Big 12 SEC challenge is done, and this will be the first year. I think this is prior to Thanksgiving week that we'll see that. I hope it's Syracuse. I think they're going to give North Carolina and Duke to Tennessee and Kentucky, but I wouldn't mind Syracuse being one of the teams that we play. I know they came to Bud Walton years back, but I think that would be a fun matchup.
Well, I don't know what Syracuse is going to be like. I would think that Arkansas is going to be, right there with the top SEC teams in terms of, the attraction, in terms of ranking. I'm not sure where Syracuse is going to be in that regard. I think there may be I would think somebody along the lines maybe of Virginia, somebody like that. I think they're going to pit the best teams from the conferences against one another as best they can. And again, I'm not sure what Syracuse is going to be like.
Yeah, no Jim Boeheim.
Duke plays Kentucky.
Yeah, Tennessee will play North Carolina, I bet, because of the proximity. If I had to guess.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not they'll, do it that way, I don't know. But there are some decent programs in that league, obviously. Yeah. So, I could see Arkansas playing a school like Virginia, somebody like that.
So, would Virginia and Syracuse be, I guess, third and fourth in pecking order? They may not be the best teams, but we're talking about brand names, trying to match brand names. I think Arkansas is third or fourth in this league right now. I think this kind of where you'd put it. All right, more to get to.
Alabama's going to figure into it as well.
That's another great point.
They're our rival, guys. We're talking about a lot of other places in basketball. They're our rival.
So
don't kid yourself.
One thing you're rivals with this time of year is the people at the end of the cul-de-sac. Who's going to put on the better fireworks show? Well, we're going to help you do it. We're giving away $2,000 worth of fireworks. Tie this Friday, we announce the winner. How do they enter?
Yeah, excited to do that. HitThatLine.com/USA Fireworks. Chris and Edward Brewer trying to give you the best holiday this season thanks to USA Fireworks. They've been doing it for over 30 years. It takes 2 minutes to sign up. And again, if you've ever seen $2,000 worth of fireworks for a show, you're going to be amazed. Again, HitThatLine.com/USA Fireworks. And if you're interested in wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org. Morning Rush Daily Question when we come back.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection. 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Tommy, you made a good point earlier that if LSU wins tonight, it would be the third straight SEC West team to win the national championship in baseball. Now, of course, you want to be one of those teams. Hopefully, you will be. As
all
of
three different teams, too, by the way.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and potentially the LSU Tigers tonight. It would also make Jay Johnson the third baseball coach to win a national championship. Skip Bertman, Paul Maneri, and then he would add his name to that list as well, kind of like the football team, with Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron. And when you factor Arkansas in on this, where did the Razorback baseball team rank, and where is it in the pecking order of the Southeastern Conference? I have them at 4. I have them behind the LSU Tigers, which it's very hard, I think, to dispute that based on Arkansas's long losing streak against them, the third straight potential coach to win a national championship. I have them behind the Florida Gators, who are in their 4th championship since 2005. Kevin O'Sullivan's trying to get his 2nd ring. And I have them also behind the Vanderbilt Commodores, who's had 4 championship series appearances under Tim Corbin, 2 championship wins since 2014. I think where it's more muddy and more up in the air is the South Carolina Gamecocks. They haven't been the same baseball program since Ray Tanner no longer is their head coach and is their AD. I know Mississippi State won it 2 years ago under Lamonis, and they have an outstanding facility in Dudy Noble. And I still think Arkansas is above Ole Miss. But to me, Arkansas is no higher than 4th in the pecking order of SEC baseball. Where do they factor in?
I don't disagree with the first 3. You played the argument out pretty well. I don't think South Carolina is ahead of Arkansas. I mean, everything you mentioned there is a decade old. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I say Arkansas is probably no better than 4th, but no worse than 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So
are we talking about the here and now, or are we talking about historically? What are you talking about?
I think it's a combination of the both, and I tried to do my best in looking at where the historical aspect and really since the SEC, since Arkansas joined, and then the current state in 2023. I tried to combine that when kind of looking at this.
Well, I would take issue with Vanderbilt at number 3, and I hear you about what you're saying about the championships, but Vanderbilt the last 2 years have not gotten out of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And when we came into the league, Vanderbilt was by far the worst program in our conference. They were in baseball what they were in football, what they are in football. And they were that way for 10 years. Really, they were that way for about 12 years. Vanderbilt's window, if you want to just really get down to it, was from about 2003, 2004 to about 2020, somewhere around the COVID. They've not been, last couple of years, they've just not gotten out. And so Vanderbilt's historical window there has only been 15, 16 years. If you want to get into somebody who's really got a historical window in our league, it's Mississippi State. Before there was LSU, there was Mississippi State. They dominated the league in the 80s. We played them in the College World Series in 85. And they had at least three big leaguers on that team, maybe more. And they were the standard. Before Skip Bertman, before LSU, but back when his Skip said LSU thought you scored points in baseball. They were nothing. And Mississippi State's the one that carried the banner in our league for a long, long time. So, look, Arkansas's program's right there with them. I don't think talent-wise this year they've been quite as good as Florida and LSU. But let me say this, and I believe this. Sometimes you win because you've got better talent than everybody else. Sometimes you win because your coach does a spectacular job. Lots of times you win, though, because of that name on the front of your jersey. And I think that's one of those things that's made LSU great for the last 20, 25 years. Is this time of year they play for that name on the front of the jersey. I think Arkansas's year this year, the sum was greater than the parts. I think this is one of those program years, man, where your culture carries you through injuries and through times when, you're having to play guys you didn't plan on playing. You're asking people to do more than you've asked them to do before. That's what programs do. And Arkansas's got a great program. And so, if you want to get bogged down in the minutia and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, LSU's record speaks for itself. Florida's record speaks for itself. But Arkansas's got nothing to apologize for.
Now, Chuck, you probably have more knowledge on this. The 11.7 scholarships, and I know NIL has kind of mitigated that in baseball the last couple years, but Vanderbilt has had that advantage with the weird private school and stuff. I had someone explain it to me one time, but they've had that advantage over other SEC programs for quite a number of years. Does that factor into all this?
Sure it factors in. I mean, you remember when Ron Polk went to Georgia, took him to the College World Series, and I think he was there 2 years. Took him there, they hadn't done anything, and they were one of the school's first states, and Louisiana was one of the first states that offered what we offer now, the scholarship lottery, and you had players in those programs in those days that qualified for state lottery money, and they'd get that money, and you didn't have to spend part of that 11.7 on them. And now the playing field's been leveled to a great extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the laws are different in every state about what you qualify for. And so there's always been maneuvering in the non-full scholarship sports. And sometimes it's, sometimes it's you're able to give them aid that they wouldn't be able to get at a state school. And other times at state schools, you're able to give them aid that maybe in another state they're not able to because the laws are different. So there's always been maneuvering in baseball in that regard.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopaschal.com.
So we were talking about Chandler Lawson committing to Arkansas over the weekend. Other big recruiting news in SEC basketball is Javon Quinterly, after initially announcing he's coming back to Tuscaloosa, is entering his name in the transfer portal. Now, I was curious because I thought the portal had closed, but Richard Davenport informed me that the grad transfer can enter a portal at any time for college basketball. They are not restricted by that or any means. Chuck, you said something interesting. So I think every fan listening right now has thought of Kentucky basketball being Arkansas's rival, but you think that's shifted towards Alabama, which I know Nate Oates and I guess Eric Musselman came in the league at the same time. There's comparisons that are made between the two. Eric's had better postseason success than Nate Oates to this point, but Oates has done a few more things in the regular season, which you, of course, take the first one over the latter each and every time. Why do you think they've kind of emerged as Arkansas's basketball rival?
Well, have you watched the games? I mean, have you paid attention to recruiting? It's as obvious as the nose on your face.
Yeah. They don't like each other.
You don't think the two coaches get along or like each other at all?
Oh, I don't think that matters. I don't think it matters. Arkansas and Texas were fierce rivals for years. Frank Broyles and Darrell Royal were best buddies. Lots of coaches out there, rival schools are friends. I don't think it matters if they like each other or not. I just think they're after the same guys we're after. You've got similar styles, so you're going to recruit similar players. The games are intense. I think, all you got to do is look at what's happened the last few years.
I don't think they like each other.
I don't think so either. I was going to volunteer.
Hey, they
that.
may not. I'm not saying they don't. Yeah. I'm just saying whether they do or not. That's
either for that reason or another, Chuck. Those two coaches want to beat each other for some kind of extra reason beyond just winning a recruit or winning a game. It's personal.
Well,
it's personal.
Oates has a certain style that rankles the other side, and so does Muss.
Absolutely.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Nolan used to make him mad, and Eddie used to make him mad. They hated him, and that's the way you want it. Hey, we love to hate Cal, but I promise you over time, we'll hate Nate Oates more. I promise you.
Well, Grant Nelson, you mentioned player battles. It still hasn't made an announcement one way or another if he's going to end up in Alabama. The expectation is, to his point, you think about, I guess that game would have been 3 years ago where you had Jalen Tate and, not Clowney, but I'm forgetting the kid's name that got tossed out of the Alabama-Arkansas game. You had games in Tuscaloosa and Fayetteville this year that were pretty intense. So I don't think they're both you don't play home and away this year. I don't remember if it's in Tuscaloosa or Arkansas, but that is a game that a lot of people are going to circle on the schedule this upcoming season.
You've got to have – LSU and Alabama, we look back over a 30 or 40-year history of the SEC. Is Alabama and LSU always been a big rivalry game in this league? No. Why did it become that? Because they played games of consequence. And Arkansas and Alabama, I'm talking about football there, but Arkansas and Alabama in basketball, the games have become consequential. The winner gets a big edge in the league standings or national rankings or polls or recruiting. You also have to play games of consequence, and I think that's what they've been doing for a few years.
Well, I think they have, and I guarantee you out on the recruiting trail, if you're recruiting against Arkansas or Alabama, no matter who you are, Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, whoever, pick your school. Man, you better bring it. Because right now, Arkansas and Alabama are doing a lot of good things on that front. And, Muss and Nate Oates are, they got it rolling right now. That's what makes it fun. They're up and coming. They're good now, and they're still coming.
Wes in Bentonville says he already hates Nate Oates even more. It's when you compare the ethics, and he thinks Cal wouldn't have let Brandon Miller skate by like Nate Oates did. And I think you have some Arkansas fans that feel that same way. And it's good. I know that Alabama traditionally in football, of course, has been the team you want to beat the most just because of how good they are. But basketball-wise, this is kind of a rejuvenated squad that you enjoy competing with year after year.
See, this is just my own personal litmus test. We all have litmus tests on what we use to define whether or not we like a coach. I don't hate Cal. I'll just say it right now. I don't hate Calipari, and here's why. Because he's gracious in defeat. He gives credit to the other team. He never makes excuses. He's willing to say we got beat, and he always gives the other team credit. That, to me, is one of the signs, not the only sign, but that's one of the signs of a good leader. I pay attention to things like that. I pay attention to it with other teams' coaches, and frankly, I pay attention to it with our coaches. Always have. I don't say it a lot, but I always have paid attention to that. It's important to me as a fan. One of the things I watch for. All I'll say is I think Cal handles defeat more graciously than Nate Oates. I'll just put it that way.
So
that's my own personal litmus test.
So if Alabama's kind of emerged as the rivalry in basketball, you still feel strongly that LSU is the baseball rival, and as Ole Miss, while fans don't put them at the top of the list, most of them, outside of maybe Eastern Arkansas, is that your biggest rival and who you're competing for in terms of kids and players and the battles that you've had consistently?
I don't know about that. I think you compete with all of them. I mean, we've talked about how in baseball and it's this way in all the sports. I mean, it's the league kids want to play in. So you you compete fiercely with all of them. No, I don't think Ole Miss is our biggest rival in baseball.
No, sorry, Ole Miss for football, LSU for baseball.
Oh, no, I don't think Ole Miss is our biggest rival in football.
Because I thought that would be like you compete for more similar kids. Kiffin, Pittman came in the same year. I know Leach came in that year, but he's no longer with us. So that was where I drew comparisons. Because I think it also plays in the idea, the reason of Muss and Oates getting compared so much is because they came in the same year. They have some of the same background with some of the stuff. And that's why I think that's another kind of draw to when you bring those two coaches up.
But, we started the conversation with basketball in Alabama, and, the Kentucky game, whenever that is on the schedule, and when you get it at your place, it's still the hottest ticket. When LSU comes in every other year in baseball, it generally is the most sought-after Friday night ticket. This year was Tennessee that, at least early building up. Turned out South Carolina became the bigger series as the season unfolded. Will Alabama rise to that level? I thought it was a clear number 2 for home games this year, but the Kentucky game was still a bigger fanfare, a bigger deal because of the name on the front of the shirt. And, in football, who is that game when it comes in? I think when we get to a point where A&M is coming here, that's going to be a big game, but nothing's going to trump Texas when they come to your stadium. Maybe Oklahoma in years, but we're getting to a point where, particularly in baseball, what's the series of consequence? You hope you get to that in football where, what's the series of consequence?
Well, you have to beat them. Both sides have to win.
Yeah.
And we got to win our share.
Have it
so far. If you're going to have a rivalry, both sides got to consider your rival. And if you want the other guys to consider your rival, you got to beat them and make them mad. And you got to anger their fan base. You got to get stuff going. And that happens naturally out on the field, or it doesn't.
That's why this Missouri thing's such a farce.
Just keep losing to them.
Well, that and the games aren't of consequence. That's why the LSU series became such a big deal, because the games mattered in the SEC West standings.
Well, it mattered more to them than us. Let's be honest. Most of those years we played LSU, it mattered more to them in terms of where they were going to finish. Some years it mattered for us, but most of the years it mattered for them. My theory on
and there were
that
years
is
we beat them and cost them the title.
My theory on that's always been that we thrive on being little old Arkansas against the traditional power. We've always done it. It's why Texas was our rival for years. LSU was one of the traditional SEC football schools, and we weren't. We picked them out. And that's what happened. We picked LSU to be our rival. It wasn't until we started beating them that LSU finally considered us to at least be a little bit of a rival. Still not much, but here's the deal. They considered us to be beneath them. And as I've said before, we consider Missouri to be beneath us, and they consider us to be beneath them. And it's not born out of the fact that we're better than the other side. It's that they're worse than we are. And I don't know that that's really how you build a rivalry. When both these teams get good, if they get good, it'll be a fierce rivalry. Until then, one side's going to look down on the other.
When Arkansas joined the league, LSU was not very good in football. Until Nick Saban came along, they were –
well, but they'd had years where they were.
Yeah.
They'd had plenty of years where they were. And we didn't start that battle of the boot. Nobody really took it seriously right away. I don't know that even we took it seriously right away, but – again, we took that game far more seriously than LSU did. We played for that trophy, and that's why a lot of years we won when we weren't as good as they were. Whether we like it or not, Missouri takes that ball game with us more seriously than we've taken that ball game with them. Mm-hmm. And that's why they've won more than we have.
Mm-hmm.
Can't look down on somebody that beats you. You just can't. And I do think, though, if both programs get to where they want to go, I do think that's a rivalry that 20 years from now will be much more of a legit rivalry than it is right now. Hey, it's going to be hot this week. I'm not breaking any news to you there. You better make sure your AC is working. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. When you go with Pascal, you don't have to worry about weeks like this because they have the plant protection program. They have the professional tune-ups. They're the ones that make certain this thing works year-round. They make sure you're warm in the winter. Right now, they're making sure you stay cool in the summer. It's important to have the best. It's important to deal with professionals. If you're in Northwest Arkansas, Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric's been a name you've known for 50 years or more. If you're finding out in other areas, you're learning very quickly that there's a reason why they've been around as long as they have. If you're in Hot Springs, if you're in Central Arkansas, all the way down to Dallas, if you're in Southern Missouri, they've got an opportunity. You've got an opportunity to have them service you. Professional people, professional service. You can schedule your appointment today at gopascal.com.
Did either of you two see the picture of Robert Moore wearing the Wisconsin Utter Tuggers overalls? Did you guys see that?
I did
that he
see that
posted of
picture.
himself?
No, I did not.
So in Appleton, Wisconsin, minor league team, the Timber Rattlers changed their identity as a salute to the Cows promotion, celebrating America's Dairyland during Dairy Month in the month of June. And I think minor league baseball during the summer is a part of our heritage. I know, of course, the MLB as well, but I grew up going to Travs games. I've been to a couple Naturals games, and I know that's something that people enjoy doing. There's some crazy names, like the best minor league baseball names in all of baseball. I know Phil was a huge fan of the Amarillo Sod Poodles and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. I got a chance when we were in Chapel Hill last year to go to the Durham Bulls ballpark. What was some of the craziest minor league maybe games that y'all have seen featuring a mascot? What is a name that you guys remember that you think is funny? I mean, there's some really funny ones on this list I've got.
Well, the Trash Pandas are good. Huntsville, Alabama. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Yeah.
The Biloxi Shuckers are a good one. Hey, they're all trying to sell hats, man. That's the deal. Selling those hats in minor league baseball.
Been to a few Texas League games. I haven't been to a lot of minor league games. I don't think I've been to a minor league game outside of Arkansas that I can remember. Really? But, boy, there were some fun times at the old Ray Winder back in the day. Didn't go to a lot, but I've probably been to 8 or 10 games there.
Chuck gave a couple of them. Let me list a couple. The Sugarland Space Cowboys, the Greensboro Grasshoppers, the Fayetteville, North Carolina Woodpeckers, the Fort Myers Mighty Mussels, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the Lansing Lugnuts. Chuck, you mentioned the merchandise and selling hats. That's, again, part of it because these names are so obscure and crazy. That kind of attracts people to buy the stuff.
And the logo. I mean, the name and the logo. That's how minor league teams make a lot of their money, is with these odd names, odd logos, selling merchandise.
I don't remember the Naturals is a fine name and a fine mascot, but it just doesn't have the flair of some of these others. And I think that's where they really missed an opportunity. And I remember the list, and there was like all these weird and wild names. One of them had
Skeeters.
The what?
The Skeeters.
Yeah, there was one with chicken in it, and then they go with the Naturals, which is fine.
Oh, you're saying when they pull the
when they ran the campaign.
I remember when they did that.
Yeah, and they had 4 or 5 names that made you laugh and grin, and then they had the Naturals, which is fine.
It kind of shows you how things have changed, though.
Yeah.
You know, your minor league teams generally had more traditional baseball names. You know, you had the Arkansas Travelers. They were Little Rock Travelers back in the day. You know, the Memphis Blues, for example, or the Memphis Chicks, short for Chickasaw. You had names like that were, they didn't really, there weren't any Trash Pandas. Let's just put it that way back in the day. But this is all driven by merchandise sales. It's all driven by merchandise sales. And these weird names have become the rage now because of that. But there was a time, and really the Naturals, when they came into existence, we'd not gotten to the phase now where all the teams had weird names. And we were not at the point where a lot of them survival depended upon merchandise sales. So it was a little bit different time, even though it doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity, I guess is the point.
Well, hindsight's 20/20 there. Nobody else was doing it back then. I mean, there weren't any Savannah Bananas back then. There weren't teams like that then.
Well, you could have been a pioneer. That's the whole point. You could have been a pioneer.
I understand. It's easy to second guess, though.
Yeah. Well, that's what
and
we're
at
here
the time, the Bolt and the Naturals, I got to be honest, I wanted Naturals more than some of the other things I heard.
That could be our new mascot, the Morning Rush second guessers. That's what we'll be.
There you go.
Second guessers.
But put the merchandise, put the merch
Have a
package
big 2
together.
on our helmet. Have a big 2
and a
on
question
our hat,
mark,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
Hey, one thing we're not second guessing is the time that you'll have at Gaston's White River Resort. I was looking at some pictures on Sean White's one of the top guides there, and I saw 4 or 5 good pictures from the weekend that people had at Gaston's. 25, 27. I saw a 30-inch fish they caught over the weekend there. I mean, there's been some quality browns and rainbows in the White River the last few days, and there's no better place to go than Gaston's. And, hey, you're a bass fisherman, or you like to go on the lake, and that's really what you do, but and maybe trout fishing intimidates you a little bit because you've never done that before. Use one of the expert guides. That's what they're there for. Or maybe you're just not a fisherman, but you hear us talk about it. You say, that sounds like a great time, but how would I run the boat and tie it? What would I tie on? What kind of bait do I use? That's why they have the expert guys to handle every aspect and make your day enjoyable. It's all at Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Are you ready to roll this hay season? WT Equipment in Springdale is, and they're offering 0% for 60 months or cash back on select New Holland tractors, telehandlers, and hay equipment during the Ready to Roll sales event going on right now. Being ready for tomorrow starts today. Get ready to roll with WT Equipment in Springdale and take advantage of the best deals of the year. Hurry, the offer ends June 30th. For commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required.
This is the Morning Rush.
All the road hogs have the hog calls and the tailgate ready to roll.
Hey River Valley, this is Caleb DeWitt with Carco Auto Sales. As many of you know, parts of Fort Smith and Van Buren were recently affected by a hailstorm, and our lot was no exception. Our inventory may have received minor hail damage, but with that comes a major discount. Choose from late model cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all with thousands off the original price tag. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith or visit us online at www.buyfromcarco.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better. The Golf Nut has everything you need to make 2023 the best year ever. In stock now, Ping G430 woods and irons, along with tailor-made Stealth 2 woods. Schedule a fitting today. The new Titleist Pro V1s are here. Golf lessons are available. Call the shop and book a time, or just play a round of golf on one of the many courses like Pebble Beach or Bethpage Black. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howell in Van Buren.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
For the break-in, we were talking about minor league baseball teams. John texted in the Montgomery Biscuits is his favorite minor league baseball team name.
They got a nice downtown ballpark.
Do they?
There in Montgomery. We stay there when we play Auburn. Stay in Montgomery in football, and they've got a nice ballpark downtown.
Well, I like the mascot, the look of it, but that was another one that John texted in.
You need a crazy mascot and an even crazier promotional night.
Yeah.
That's what you got to have.
Good logo. Yeah. All right, let's get into our Hog Update. Once again, Hagen Smith named as an All-American, this time by the College Baseball Foundation. Brady Tigert, that as well. Arkansas's 33rd ever All-Americans in the history of Razorback baseball. Hagen's really cleaned up, guys. Seems like every All-American list that comes out, he's on it.
Yeah, he had a great year. Certainly deserving.
Yep. Draft's coming up in July the 9th, I believe. It's right there, All-Star game, draft, and then the All-Star game coming up. So we'll know where some of these guys are going here in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Arkansas basketball got some good news over the weekend outside of just the NBA draft. Chandler Lawson out of Memphis also played at Oregon, committed to Arkansas, filling the final roster spot. We're going to get a chance, Tommy, to talk with Muss later on today at 2 o'clock, hear from him about some of the guys that were drafted, and hopefully he'll be able to update us on Chandler and hit that edition as well.
We get a chance to talk to Muss. If you're asking questions, here's what I want to know with Muss. Because he wore a coat and tie the other night. What is the threshold? What in his life? There's only been 2 times I recall him wearing coat and tie. That's when he went to the state capitol to talk to the legislature, and the other night for the draft. What is it? Is it weddings, funerals? Does he even wear coat and tie there? What is the threshold for him to actually wear a coat and tie?
Well, if it's like most of us, whenever his wife tells him.
Or Hunter Yurchek tells him to.
Hunter didn't tell him to wear a coat and tie.
I think he did when he went to the state legislature.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
but
that's the only 2 I remember him doing it. So
Hunter, I don't know that he had to tell him on that one. Yeah. But, no, I think if when Muss proposed the polo, if he was going to give him a dress code, that's when he would have done it.
Yeah.
It sure seems like it's a across-the-board athletics department thing. Now, I know you'll occasionally see Hunter in a suit, but someone that I know that worked in the athletics department under Jeff Lawson and then under Hunter Yurchek asked about dress code, and he's just like slacks in an Arkansas polo. Make it a lot easier. So, and I know, of course, Muss dons that every single game, and a lot of times you see him out in public. It just seems like it's across the board now.
I was just saying it's noteworthy he had coat and tie on the other night. Where is the line you cross? Okay, this requires a tie.
You guys talk about Muss in a polo and slacks. I generally see him. He's wearing gym shorts and a T-shirt. He's dressed up for the games. Believe me.
Yeah.
I like the polo slacks look on that. All right, we got 68 days out till Arkansas football. On the Bet Saracen app, Tommy, Arkansas is a 34.5-point favorite. If you want to throw some money on that over Western Carolina for that opening game.
Might be one of the few places you can get some action on that, because not every book will probably have that. But 34.5, that's 5 touchdowns. Guys, that's a lot of points against anybody.
Game 1.
Yeah. And particularly in game 1. Who knows how hot it may be in Little Rock that day as well.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of points, though.
All right, that's going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
So I know we're in the midst of summer right now. Tommy, you've talked about working at a country club. I saw this article that teens are expected to get almost a 10% raise at lifeguard. When I was in high school, I worked at a burger place, and I also worked at an ice cream shop. Love the ice cream shop. Burger place always smelled like burgers. That was your summer job growing up, right? Was working at the country club?
I picked up the range and I washed the golf carts. That was my first job.
Okay.
So,
Chuck,
I've lined a few baseball fields.
$3.35 an hour.
Okay. That was your summer job, was doing the baseball field stuff?
I did work at the boys club, yeah. I've lined a few fields, umpired a few games. Yeah, I was a boys club kid. Boys and girls clubs kid.
About lifeguards, I saw where it's a story on the news the other night was there was a grandmother who went and got her lifeguard certification because they were going to close the pool in the neighborhood because there was no lifeguards available.
Good for her.
So she went and got her certification so they could open the pool that year.
Did you guys ever do landscaping? Did you work any land? I did that one summer, the summer after my freshman year of college, and my dad told me, it's like, you're going to do this job because you're going to find out that you never want to do this for the rest of your life, which he was exactly right, but it was good character building
If
summer.
by landscaping you mean mowing the yard, I did that, but it was a pro bono situation.
Pro bono?
It was
just had to do that.
You get to live here, so therefore you're going to mow the yard. So that it was one of those life lessons that you learned. Now they'd put you in jail for making your kids mow the yard. So.
Camp counselors and waiters are also getting a pay raise as well this summer for high school kids. But that's cool about what you said about the.
I guess nobody wants to be a lifeguard anymore. I guess
I always thought that was something I never did, but I wanted to do growing up. Chuck, we have someone that works here. His son is on the grounds crew for Arkansas baseball and has really come to like that a lot. He's learned a lot. I think he's a junior now in college this year, but he said he's learned so much about the different things just with Bob Walker and doing all that to this point.
Yeah, keeping a field in order is not an easy job. It's an everyday job, particularly when you're dealing with grass field. And it's not like when the season ends, if you're one of the grounds crew, you're off until next season. I mean, you got stuff you're doing in the off season just like everybody else does to keep it looking and more than anything, keep it playing the way you want it to play. And I'm sure that, I'm sure that's a rewarding job. I'm also sure they look for things in the game that maybe we don't.
Yeah.
Bad hops to them might mean something different than it does to somebody just sitting in the stand.
And the only time someone notices is when something goes wrong and you have to run out there and fix it. They don't have. I will say, you were talking about Cal giving credit to the opposing team when his team loses. First thing out of Dave's mouth after getting beat by TCU and exiting the tournament was giving credit to TCU and giving credit to their grounds crew. It was like the first two things out of his mouth, so I thought that was kind of cool because when Bob Walker looks as pristine as it does, it's not exactly a walk in the park. It takes time, effort, and energy.
Here's the thing you got to remember. I mean, Dave went through this, and all these coaches went through this. There was a time when they were the head coach and the head groundskeeper and the concession stand director and everything else. A lot of
programs.
These, and Dave Van Horn's one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, when Dave Van Horn was back in the day, I'm sure down at Texarkana Community College in Central Missouri and probably even at Northwestern State down at Natchitoches, I'm sure he was the dirt man. And so my point is these guys know what goes into it.
Yeah.
They understand the work involved, and they're not just looking at how pristine it looks. They're looking at how it plays. That's when a coach compliments the grounds crew, he's not saying, man, my field sure looked good. He's saying this field played fair, and that's because of you. That's what he's saying.
I just want to know how they mow those patterns in. Not just the stripes, but like the one in Omaha, how they got that design out there, or like the arch in St. Louis. How do you do that? Now
you go back and forth a lot, from what I've been told.
Yeah,
you go back and forth a lot.
That's advanced level stuff right there.
It is advanced level.
They
make it look easy.
Well, listen, when I get by your house, I expect to see a nice pattern in that yard there, Chuck.
You can pot on my front yard. Don't kid yourself.
Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, the lifetime warranty, and never any hidden fees when you get to Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. So we always wanted to mow the yard as low as we could and burn it up because we could burn out the grass and kill it off. That's maybe 2 or 3 less mowings for the year. We hated rain at this point in the year. We just wanted the yard to die.
Oh, Teddy and Tommy trying to burn down his parents' grass.
I'll lower this deck down, get it as low as I can.
The side. All right, more of the Morning Rush coming up. I want to ask this question when we return. Should they push back the College World Series championship a week? We'll discuss next.
Hi everyone, this is Lisa with Davis Floor Covering. Are you ready to update your home or office and get it looking its best? Whether it's new carpet, hardwood flooring, tile, stone, or luxury vinyl plank, Davis Floor Covering can help you with all your flooring needs. With the best brands such as Bella Sarah Hardwood and JP Mathis Vinyl Plank Flooring. And we even do countertops, so come on in and let's get started. Davis Floor Covering, 3 locations to serve you, Fort Smith, Springdale, and Tahlequah. Or call us, 479-452-4808.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas. In-office or telemedicine visits available to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors. Call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is Ty Richardson. When I think of rich history and tradition in Fort Smith, I think of Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has won the best pizza and bar in Fort Smith the past 25 straight years. So if you want to experience legendary pizza, awesome drinks, and memories for a lifetime, swing by Papa's, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you looking for a change of scenery? Lavorne Lumber is looking to hire a Class A CDL flatbed driver for a regional position. Lavorne Lumber is highly competitive in pay. Lavorne Lumber is a family-owned lumber and trucking company. Home most nights and every single weekend. Guaranteed. Lavorne Lumber has top-of-the-line equipment. If you're interested in the job, stop by Lavorne Lumber at 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith Monday through Friday from 9 to 4.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine, lots of heat. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 80s to lower 90s. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, overnight lows, low 60s. North, maybe a shower or two further south with overnight lows near 70, low 90s on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 68 days.
Knowing Schemes probably won't pitch again. Believe me, if Schemes pitches again, it'll be the biggest controversy at the College World Series seen in 10 years.
Even in Game 3? You don't think
you might see him for an inning or two. I would be surprised.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You guys know I am a student of pop culture.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
It all comes down to tonight for the LSU Tigers and the Florida Gators. Game 3 after Gators just chomped LSU 24-4 in Game 2. Paul Skeens looks like he's going to pitch at some point tonight. Don't know how many innings. Don't know if he's going to start. But it's kind of a bummer that the best pitcher in college baseball, potentially, isn't going to get to play a full game. Now, if this championship series was pushed back a week, that would be different. I want to talk about that coming up.
Hey, the best selection of RVs is even better now at Wheels RV. Not only do they have Grand Design and Forest River products, but they've added over the last few months Brinkley's. And you can find the Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels at Wheels RV. And just like every new RV they sell, it comes with a lifetime warranty. None of the RVs at Wheels come with extra fees and hidden document fees and prep fees, delivery fees, all these things that get added to the final numbers if you go elsewhere. So you can always count on the price that you're given at Wheels to be the price you're going to pay. That's one of the reasons they've been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So I know you have the hot dog eating contest on July the 4th, but when you look at next weekend, and I know it's a little odd because 4th of July falls on a Tuesday, I don't understand why you don't push the championship series back a week. You have a week in between for football. I know football's a different sport. Basketball, it goes from Saturday to Monday night, but the Final Four is spaced out from the Elite Eight and Sweet 16. Why do you not push the championship series back a week? What is the rationale for not doing that?
Push the whole sport back a week, right?
Correct.
Which I've thought, but it's been draft related, I think, in the past. But I've always thought, if you started a week later and you ended a week later or 2 weeks later, it would certainly, I think, grow the footprint of the sport because it allowed teams up north maybe a little more time in good weather. Chuck.
Well, these are two different issues, though. I mean, if you're talking about pushing this thing back, so for example, in this case, Paul Skeens would have full rest. If that's what you're asking, you're not pushing the whole season back. You're just pushing back the championship series of the College World Series. If you push everything back a week, you're in the same spot just a week later.
That's what I'm at. You're the championship series, Tommy. Just the week.
See, I don't think you can do that. This is not football. This is not football and basketball. I don't think you can wait 10 days or 2 weeks to start this and still have, take a weekend off, as you say. I don't think you can do that and still have the eyeballs on it like you would in football or basketball.
And you're not going to have, Omaha still has their minor league team. You're working around their schedule. But, I thought you were talking about from the standpoint of pushing the whole event back.
Just the championship series.
See, you think about how the basketball season plays out. There's no break. You're going weekend to weekend to weekend. And even in the bowl season, when you talk about deciding the national champion, you've got a break there. But you've also got a series of bowl games that all lead up to that. And football is different. You can take a week, 10 days off in football, and all the eyeballs are still going to be on the national championship game. I just don't think you can do that in baseball. In fact, the numbers clearly show that you cannot.
If you told me you wanted to start the regular season at the end of February rather than mid-February and end it around the 4th of July weekend with the College World Series Championship Series, I'd be all on board with that.
Well, see, here's the thing, though, if I could interject this. You've got on your roster, with the exception of, maybe a handful of players, you've got kids on your roster for whom summer development is vital. Summer development's vital. If you're a team that gets, let's say you do push everything back, it's 4th of July weekend when you finish this thing up. Well, you got kids that aren't playing, but they need to be playing summer ball to develop for next year. By the time you get done, that's done. By the time you get done and get back, you got summer term starting. You got another summer semester beginning. It's time to go back to school. So I hear you. And from a fan's perspective, particularly this year, would it be great? Absolutely it would be great. But I think it'd screw up the calendar to the point that it's just not doable.
Cajun says it takes away the advantage of Florida being 3-0 in the championship series because LSU lost. They had to use more pitchers. And he feels like that's a bit, which Arkansas had in 2018. You went 3-0 before the championship series. JB in Fayetteville brings up that the NCAA fiscal year starts July the 1st, so all the championships must be completed by June the 30th.
Well, I'm not sure about that part. They could rearrange the books if they had to, I can assure you. But they, part of the reason they're 3-0 is because they went through their bracket unscathed. I just think that the way they've got it set up now is the way they have to do it. And really, they pushed the season back 2 weeks from where it originally began. When I started doing it, you played your first game generally about February 1st, February 2nd. And the teams in Florida and the teams in the warm weather climates would start their seasons in January. And so they came up with a uniform start time. But, no, I think I hear you, and it would be nice this year, but I just don't think it's doable.
Now, if everybody would just listen to me, I could solve this problem. I would just move the NBA start of their season back to Christmas, and then we'd play the NBA and have their finals wrap up sometime late July. And, that way we'd have some compelling sports TV beyond Major League Baseball's regular season in the summer. And I don't know why the NBA has not wanted to make this shift, because they get lost early in the year with football and the NFL and college football sucking all the oxygen out of the room. Their big moment is Christmas Day when they have their big games. That could be their opening games, and then they could play into July and own the landscape. But they've never been able to put that together.
They play into June. They play into June.
Yeah, move back another month and play into July when nothing else is going on. My guess is TV doesn't want that because people are out and they're active, but they play the games at night. I don't think it would be a massacre for their audience numbers.
I also think if you played the College World Series over the 4th of July weekend, I don't think you'd have as many people there.
And that was the question I would, because you talked about numbers potentially taking a hit. Wouldn't that be kind of an American event, though? Because, I mean, you think about American baseball, the idea of going to the championship series.
Guys, we love the Razorbacks more than anything in the world. We can't fill the stadium up on Labor Day weekend. Holidays matter. I mean, holidays matter. People travel.
But that's
people have traditions.
I think there's a difference between competing for a national
How many times have you been to Omaha when the Razorbacks weren't playing?
What I'm talking about, that's a.
I mean, come on, that's what you're saying.
But no, that's a fair.
There's his
that's
answer.
A fair question, but you're talking. What we're talking about is two teams playing for a championship series.
Just driving through the town. How many times have you been there when the Razorbacks
are playing? Once. And that's a fair, valid point. But what I'm bringing up is like the idea of celebrating 4th of July, the traditions. If your team is playing for the Nationals, I don't know how many Omaha fans there tonight and this weekend are non-LSU or non-Florida fans. There's probably a few residents here and there, but the majority of the fans that I've watched have been purple and gold and blue and orange. There hasn't been a lot of just traditional bland colors there. I mean,
I think
it's
you'd
90.
Be surprised.
It's
I
90.
think you'd be surprised.
I think it's 95% LSU or Florida fans.
No.
Y'all think it's
strong disagreement?
There's a lot of
strong
locals that
disagreement.
A lot of.
Why do y'all
there.
think that?
Because I've been there.
But I'm talking about the championship series. There's a difference between
the locals that buy the tickets. That's one of the reasons they buy is to go to that moment. Yeah,
well, I mean, if they could assure that teams like LSU and Arkansas got in every year, you probably would have a crowd. But I don't – even for Arkansas and LSU fans, having it over the 4th of July weekend would affect travel in the crowd. It just would.
Yep. I mean – people have traditions. People have things that they do. I mean, my family.
You're talking about an American tradition.
Yeah.
An American tradition is going on vacation the week of the 4th of July, and it's a lot more of an American tradition than watching the College World Series. I mean, it just is.
I hear. What you're saying is not a terrible idea, and people
it's not.
would have
it's
more
just
free
not
time,
doable.
But not
it's just
everybody.
Not doable.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you wrap it up before. I do wish you could push things back, but there's. What I also hated was when they had the draft right in the middle of the College World Series. People were finding out, so they've made adjustments there. I didn't even consider what Chuck said about player development for the players that are on your bench, and they need to go to Cape Cod.
And we've not even talked about recruiting yet.
Right.
We've not even talked about that.
Right.
And I promise you, the coaches, I guarantee you, Jay Johnson and Kevin O'Sullivan today are going to have recruiting phone calls on the day of the national championship game. They're going to think about it today. They're going to worry about it today. And they're going to be afraid that Tony Vitello and Dave Van Horn are already in the homes of the players they want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you push it back, you only exacerbate that problem. We didn't even get into recruiting. And in college baseball, this isn't going to happen unless the coaches are for it. And I don't think they're going to be for it.
I didn't. You think about that. You hear Saban talk about it in football at times, where he's worried about recruiting while his team's playing, in the championship game or the playoff.
The same way, yeah.
You got four.
Well, even
four teams left, and everybody else is working their tail off.
You heard Muss talk about it this year. I mean, we're playing in an Elite Eight game. We've got 3 Zooms going that day with transfer guys.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas is getting ready to play a bowl game. And if you don't win that bowl game, people are mad at you. Well, during that period, you're supposed to be getting ready for a bowl game. You got practice at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, you got 4 or 5 Zoom calls with transfers, high school kids, all this stuff. And so I just think doing something like this further complicates it for baseball. I don't think it's going to happen.
Just put the NBA there.
I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Well, how about let's just make the Cardinals good again, and we'd have something to pay attention to.
Well, yeah.
I am glad you brought up the Cardinals, Chuck.
Maca. Make the Cardinals great again.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's what I'm going for. Make the Cardinals great again.
Yeah.
That's my group.
I don't even know. Were those games? Those games were on television, right? Fox was over there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, I watched them both.
I don't watch. I know
Or
that
parts of them.
They were on ESPN yesterday.
I know Ortiz gifted Derek Jeter, who's newly a part of the Fox broadcast, with a custom-made Derek Jeter Red Sox jersey, which I thought was funny. But
Fox for Game 1 and ESPN for Game 2.
Okay. You had over 110,000 split between both games. We've seen now the MLB go overseas. We've seen the NFL go overseas. Could you see a day and age where college football at any point?
Well, they already did.
They did. Didn't they play Navy and Notre Dame
That's
played in
right.
Ireland last year?
You're gonna have a game. You're gonna have a Big 12 game in Mexico City this year, I think.
Well, then the better question is, and I'd forgotten about that game, are we going to see more of that? Is that going to be more common
Yes.
moving forward?
Yes. That's why the Big 12 is going to play Mexico City this year. And now we'll see if it helps them or not. I don't know if it will or not.
And I was yesterday, and I remember Michael Kay did the game, and they were talking about at some point about the metrics that were being measured with YouTube and social media and the impressions and all these things that marketing people really dive into. But when you play globally, there's just the real measured lift of the game and the videos that get watched and the highlight packages and the social media impressions. And that's when they talk about growing the game, that's what they're talking about right there.
Well, I don't know if it will long term. It's certainly not going to hurt. I mean, we watch the World Cup every 4 years, and at least I kind of watch it a little bit. I don't watch any other soccer, in the years between it. My point is these things are events. You go once a year because it's an event. Do you continue to follow the game during the course of the year? I don't know the answer to that. I know that, you go down under. Australia's got a pretty viable professional baseball league, and so much of it's climate. You're not going to grow the game in a country where it rains all the time. I mean, you're just not. So, I'm not sure, I'm not sure whether or not they'll grow it there the way they want. I think that if they do, they're going to have to take the stars there. They're going to have to take this Ellie De La Cruz there from Cincinnati. You've got to find the next Ken Griffey Jr., the next Cal Ripken, the next guy that is the face of the game. Some of those guys have got to emerge, and those are the ones you've got to take internationally. Those are the ones I think that if you're going to grow the game, if you're really going to grow the game and not just, find new revenue streams and talk about growing the game when that's what you're really talking about. If you're really going to do it, you're going to have to take the stars there and give the young players there people to emulate.
And when you say grow the game in college football playing internationally, and there's been several examples, how do you really grow the game there other than you get more people to watch your brand of football from afar?
Well, Chuck talking about bringing the stars, one of the things, and Notre Dame, definitely with the contingents that they have as a fan base, is this something you could see an SEC school doing in the next 5 years? I just thought that approach, and I know Arkansas's got some non-conference games that you're excited about, but the idea of playing overseas and in London or in Germany or someone else, I think is at least just appealing as a thought.
I don't see that catching on collegiately.
Okay.
I think taking Notre Dame to, was it Dublin? Is that where they play?
Mm-hmm.
That's a natural. The Big 12 feels as though they may have a market south of the border. They may be right. I don't know enough about it to say if they do or they don't. They think they do, and so that's why they're making their move. Does that – I don't know what you accomplish. So you got a few more, Big 12 fans in Mexico. I don't know what you gain there. The same way I don't know, do the people in Ireland, are they demanding to watch Notre Dame football now? Do they get up at all hours of the morning and night to do it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just think it's professional sports and college sports are different. In professional sports, you're marketing stars. In college sports, you're marketing the name on the front of the jersey. I don't know, for example, where are you going to send Arkansas? Well, we got to go watch Arkansas play. What country are you going to send somebody to where you got a natural base of Razorback fans, as opposed to Notre Dame, where you've got that natural tie-in? I don't know the answer to that. I guess we'll find out as we go. I do know if you're in the home or if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is the name you need to be looking for. In fact, it's really the only name. That's who I partnered with. And I can tell you from personal experience as a buyer and a seller, both times it exceeded my expectations. Truth of the matter is I didn't really know what was going on. I needed someone who did, and that's why I went to them. When you partner with an agent from Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, it's the best trained in the business. I found that out. That'll be your experience too, I assure you. Whichever side of the table you're on, if you're a buyer or a seller, getting from the contract to the close, either getting in the home, getting your money, getting out, whatever your goal is, that's what they're going to help you do at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. And they've got an office in Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith, or in Branson, and you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
I think that would be fun to see at some point. Christian brings up that Northwestern and Nebraska also played in Ireland.
That's right. They did.
I'd forgotten about that. Guys, did you see Will Anderson signed the rookie from Alabama, fully guaranteed deal for over $35 million with the Houston Texans? Do you think we'll see more fully guaranteed deals in football? We've seen it with a couple different quarterbacks as of late, but I don't. He might be the first ever linebacker to get one, at least a rookie. Thought that was kind of surprising. We were talking about the basketball. That we're going to see more of this in football nowadays.
Well, any is more, right? Because you've never, because you bring it up because it's noteworthy. So, is he a player that's beyond with what they're expecting, and that's why they're willing to do that? I'd be interested to see what the motivation was to give him a deal like that.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, they obviously think he's going to be a franchise-type player, and he may very well end up being that guy. You pay you pay the cost of doing business. Here's what the market requires, and that's what they're doing. Now, let me say this. You asked the question, though, will we see more of this? Yes, we're going to see more of this. And I mean, look, that's the American sporting way now. You get paid up front. I mean, that's the way it works. It's sad. That's the way it works now. From college all the way to the highest level of the pros, you get your money up front now.
He gets a $22 million signing bonus. Yeah. So that just help me on that. That means he either gets a direct deposit or a check when he signs on the dotted line.
It's a bonus.
It's a $22 million.
Yeah. Now, you can have it paid out however you want. But if you want it all then, I'm sure they'll work it out. If he's smart, he'll defer all that. But, I don't know what these guys are going to do.
Well, that's before taxes, though. I mean, he's not going to get.
Did you guys see that Bruce Sutter deal? Did we talk about that Bruce Sutter deal? He signed that deal with the Braves back in the 80s for like $43 million. He took a little bonus there, I think about $8 million. Then he said, I want $1 million a year for like 30 years, 35 years. Braves paid Sutter $1 million a year. We talk about Bobby Bonilla. I think it was last year they finally quit paying him. They signed him off the Cardinals like in the mid-'80s. He's been getting $1 million per ever since. That's what the smart guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps on
stretch it out.
Keeps on coming. That's what.
How you get $1 million a year in the next 30, 40 years? That's pretty good safety net.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
Yep, and 20 years ago that million went a lot further than it did today. With $1 million,
I'd still take
$1 million. I'd tell you, sign me up. Sign me up. Hey, we're talking about July the 4th and traditions. A lot of family traditions are going to the lake, spending some time on the water. If you're needing a new boat this year, Kofer's Boat Center in Fort Smith has been helping customers make those priceless memories for over 50 years. So when you're choosing your next boat, you want a quality dealer handling quality brands. That's where Kofer's Boat Center can do both for you. They carry surf and wake boats by Malibu and by Axis. For the fishermen, they carry a wide assortment of aluminum boats by Lowe, plus Camus, which is the high-performance bass boats. So whatever you're looking for, they've got it. Plus, they got boat and RV storage available as well. It's all at Kofer's Boat Center. Find them online at Koffers.com, Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
Going to get a chance to catch up with Eric Musselman later on today at 2 o'clock. Hear what he has to say about 3 of his guys getting drafted this past Thursday, and Ricky Council also signing a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Basketball team also got some good news with Chandler Lawson, former Memphis Tiger and Oregon Duck. He commits to the Razorbacks as well this week. And we'll talk more about that and kind of the impact you'll have on those players signing with NBA teams coming up on the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at Wheels.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot, now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
One thing that I think should not be lost in all of this, when we talk about all of these kids, no matter where they were drafted, they're playing in the NBA. They're professional basketball players at the highest level, and they're being paid accordingly. And they're not even 25 years old.
You know, it's cool the last couple of days to hear different basketball general operations and different presidents talk about Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh. I heard Brad Stevens discussing Walsh. I heard Mitch Kupchak, who's the GM for the Charlotte Hornets, talking about Charlotte Bobcats, talking about, it's the Hornets, the addition of Nick Smith and everyone else, and just kind of hearing what they had to say about drafting the players. We'll talk about that coming up, and also the Arkansas basketball committee news that we got over the weekend as well.
If you will, allow me just a moment to tell you about our friends at Modular Orange. If you run a small business or a medium-sized business, really any business, and you need help with your website, maybe you've had someone in charge of that, they've left your company, and here we are 6 months down the road, and your website hasn't been updated, and you don't know what to do next, Modular Orange is the company to turn to. They can write, design, launch, host, secure, take care of every aspect of your website so that you can run your business. I mean, websites aren't your, expertise, that in the area you want to focus your time on. Why not let someone that is an expert at designing and writing a website and publishing and making sure every aspect of a website's right, let an expert do that for you, particularly when it comes to the cost for $95 a month. You can't employ someone to do it. You don't have the time to do it. So let's turn it over to some experts that can take care of all of it. And again, $95 a month with no hidden fees, no extras. Yes, it can integrate with the software you need for scheduling or inventory or whatever. Let's get started with a phone call, 479-755-3043. They're right here in Fayetteville, 755-3043, or see examples online at modularorange.com.
So Chandler Lawson commits to Arkansas, and their roster looks very different than it did last year. Khalif Battle is a grad senior. You've got L. Ellis as a grad senior, Devo Davis as a senior. You've got Jalen Graham as a fifth-year senior, Mekhi Mitchell as a fifth-year senior, and also Jeremiah Davenport, who came over from Cincinnati, as a fifth-year senior as well. 5 returnees on this squad. Guys, if Lawson comes in, who would also be a fifth-year senior as well, they did that or fourth year, that's a lot more veterans that you have on this roster relative to what you had in 6 freshmen last year.
Well, and I'll go back to what we talked about when the Final Four was over. The number of veterans that were still standing when they played that national championship game and when they got to the Final Four. You had the mix on all of those teams. It's hard to assemble a group together and have them win a national championship in 1 year. It is really hard to do. I don't care how many good players you've got coming in, freshmen, transfers, whatever. If you've got a whole new team, it's going to be a lot more difficult than if you've got a team with 4 or 5 solid nucleus guys and you add to that group through the portal and through high school kids. Those are the teams that generally are left standing that last weekend.
Again, 6 transfers if this Lawson thing's hold up, 2 freshmen and 5 returnees on this team. So, again, a lot different than 11 newcomers that you have, 5 through the portal and 6 freshmen last year. But, I mean, Chuck, you had the stat, and I think it was only 1 Elite 8 starter last year was a freshman. I believe
true freshman.
Yeah, was it true freshman?
And over half were juniors and seniors. Those are portal guys primarily. but you've also got you've also got nucleus guys in that group too.
Yeah, and we're happy for AB, Nick, and Jordan. But Tommy, I would guess in the coming years you're going to see more of that 1 to 2 freshmen signing, and maybe more in the 5 or 6 transfers adding, based on just kind of where we've seen the sport changed.
Well, maybe. I mean, those players also, those top 15, 20 players, 10, 15 players. I'll be interested to see how many go G League and how many go to college and what the choice is there. I still think that's a path that some will choose, and we saw it in this year's draft that I think will force coaches in another direction because a Brandon Miller type player may not be available to go to college in the years to come.
Yeah, college basketball recruiting right now is in a transition era.
Yep.
And the NIL and the portal began the era. And it got to a point very quickly that was well beyond what we thought it was going to be at its inception. And now you're factoring, and they're not minor leagues. They're just alternative leagues to college basketball. And so you're recruiting against a lot of things now. And it goes beyond just the schools that you're recruiting against. But I think you're right. Musk talked about this last year, that it was going to change. It was changing then, and it certainly changed a lot more. And we keep hearing about some sort of regulation coming forward on the NIL and the transfer portal. I think everyone's in agreement there needs to be something. And when there is, some of this may change. If it's not anything with any teeth in it, it won't. One thing you got to remember right now, the players are empowered like never before. The pendulum always swings from one extreme to the other, and it's swung from one extreme to the other now. There's going to be a balance at some point, but we're not there yet. So the answer to your question is that, there's still a lot to be determined. But I tend to believe, and you brought this up last week, Ty, and you talked about it right there too, Tommy. I tend to believe that these other leagues, your overtime elite, your G League, I can't keep up with who's in what league, to be very honest with you. But I know that long term, that's probably something that's going to have to be, acknowledged and dealt with. It's a big term, a sweeping term. But as a college coach, you're going to have to find a way to deal with all that.
It's just competition in a different form. That's for recruiting. That's exactly what they are. And we saw it with Ron Holland this year. That's I guess the best example I can give you from an Arkansas perspective. Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Always the best brands, always a great price, and always a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Never any hidden fees, document prep fees, delivery fees. None of that stuff gets added at the end when you buy at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. It's all at Wheels RV.
When we come back, we'll get into our SEC update, talk about the College World Series Game 3 tonight.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hey fans of all things Arkansas, check out this new band from Arkansas, Shine IL, with their debut album, Buffalo National River Songs Volume 1. All original songs inspired by the history, the people, and the experience of life on the Buffalo River.
Give her $1 for a jar of fire, shake it in the moonlight.
Shine IL, Buffalo National River Songs Volume 1, available on all streaming platforms now.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Razorback!
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Frank-Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank-Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank-Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
I was kind of surprised to see the news after announcing he was coming back that Javon Quinterly plans to enter the transfer portal. Got that from On3 Sports. He's a guy that started his career in Villanova, played at Alabama the last couple years, and now looks like he's going to move elsewhere. He's going to be a highly coveted player, even though it's this late in the process. And Tommy, Richard Davenport told us earlier that when it comes to the portal, while it's closed, it's not applicable to grad transfers. They can enter it at any time.
Grad transfers pretty much can do what they want when they want. And I see the pluses of that. You want to motivate every player to get their degree. You put an APR score on it for the institution. You hold them accountable when they fall below the standard. This is one way to maybe hurry along the educational and academic process so that you have this freedom. And as a player, I'd take that seriously, because if you don't have your degree and you don't have that graduate tag, your options are limited. So to me, that would be motivation enough if I'm a third, fourth-year player. And there's some of these guys that, particularly with a red shirt, in their third year, they've got that done. And now the world is opened up to you.
Yeah, and that's something he'll take advantage of. Curious to see where his next destination is. It was all Florida Gators last night.
Breaking ball to start, and Evans skies this one down the line and left toward the corner. Pearson back at the wall. That ball is gone! It's a grand slam for Evans!
So after LSU wins in extras on Friday night, the Gators come Saturday night. The Gators come storming back and win 24-4 yesterday. Tommy, they're down 1-0, then they're down 3-1, and then they just reeled off 23 unanswered runs. 23.
Well, at some point, you just, when you're LSU and you're Jay Johnson, you make decisions on who's the next pitcher.
Yep.
Knowing this is a player we're not using in a deciding game 3. I don't want to say you've thrown in the towel, more or less. You've surrendered the game. You got to play it out, but you've surrendered. So that score, while it's eye-catching and it's eyebrow-raising, isn't any indication of what may happen tonight.
Final game tonight at 6 o'clock on ESPN. Again, I'm curious to see how long Paul Skeens plays, or how many innings he goes. What are you predicting? How many? One, does he start? 2, how many innings do you see
If he
him?
plays, I suspect he starts, because he's a rising tide that lifts all the boats for a very confident LSU team. That's his routine. Chuck talked about that earlier. I think you let him get through one. You get him through the rotation, see how that goes through the first 9 batters, and then you got to make a call at that point. What's the pitch count? You're at 38 pitches through 9 batters, or some reasonable number. I think you keep going till it becomes problematic.
What's problematic? 60 plus?
2 men on with nobody out. That's problematic. You got to guard against every run. So, you got to protect his arm, and you don't want to ever get labeled as a guy that, want at all cost, including not just a big league arm, but someone's going to be drafted well within the top 5 and could be 1 or 2 or maybe 3 in the upcoming draft. I think it's July 9th or 11th, whatever it is, right there. So I suspect he starts, and I suspect he goes through the order as long as everything goes well, and you move from there.
I think Chuck said earlier, 243 pitches that he's done thus far. That is a lot. He was up for the Golden Spikes.
But he's young.
Yeah. He was up for the Golden Spikes Award that was divvied out to Dylan Cruz, his teammates. You have 2 LSU Tigers, and I guess it's, I forgot how to say his last, Castiglione, or however you say that dude's last name, but Cruz ultimately wins the Golden Spikes Award.
All 3 of those guys playing in this series. So what's that tell you about getting that caliber of player?
It's something to have the best pitcher in college baseball and maybe the best player in college baseball, both for LSU. But Johnson has a lot on his line tonight, and the sweating and bullets that you'll see from him when Skeens is on the mound, because it's tough, because Skeens is chipping in or chirping in his ear, Coach, I'm playing tonight, I'm pitching tonight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And again, this is a top 5 draft guy that you don't want to spell and hurt his career moving forward. So it's a difficult situation Johnson finds himself in.
Yeah, I mean, but what if you put Dylan Cruz out there and he tears up a knee or tears up an elbow diving for a ball? I mean, I know it's not the same thing. There's a risk of injury, but this is a choice, and it's viewed differently with pitchers. But if you lost in a game, say 7-6, and you didn't pitch him, you're always going to wonder, could we have won that national title if we'd have maybe put our best guy out there for 3 or 4 innings? He's not going 9. He's not going to pitch 100 pitches, but man, if he can give you 3 or 4 good innings, that gets you back to maybe some other guys you can piece it together with. I just hate the nature of this sport that you get down to the most important moment with everything on the line, and you don't have your best players, fully available.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of this sport, and it's what it is. But can you imagine playing for a national title and not having your point guard or your quarterback? We don't even think about it. Baseball is just part of the strategy.
Last thing here in your SEC update, SEC and Big Ten each passed $2 billion in athletics department revenue. When you think about how far and away those two conferences are from everyone else, and we've seen Dabo Swinney and Clemson's AD talking about how there needs to be some revenue distribution changes within the ACC because of how far behind they are. Just the money itself in each of these sports and what the SEC produces year in, year out is remarkable. Particularly, in Arkansas, for example, is one of 20 schools in the country that produces revenue in football, basketball, and baseball. You think softball ever be one of those? You think they can produce revenue in softball, Tommy?
Yeah, I think there will be a day where you break even, maybe do a little better than break even. Yeah, I do. Yep. But you got to also remember Oklahoma's coming in, their budgets, their athletic revenue, rather, not budget, and those are about the same figures. $170 million, Texas over $200 million. So you're getting ready to add close to $400 million more dollars to that total. Now you're doing it through additions of teams, but but you think about that. The SEC at it'll be 2 point whatever.
I think it was like 1 or 2.
Well, yeah, okay. So the combined were 2. But you think about the NFL, and it's like $10 billion for their league.
Is it really?
Something like that.
Jeez.
So it's amazing, though. We think about the size and the power and the money of college football, and then you compare it like that. And really the better comparison would be the Big Ten and the SEC combined. It's still $2.5 to $3 billion after expansion, which is a third or less, a quarter, if you will, of the NFL.
Man, that's crazy. That's going to do it for your SEC update this morning.
Hey, I want to brag on the folks at the Inn at the Mill. I stayed there over the weekend. Wonderful place to get away. My wife's birthday's coming up, and we had a little one-night getaway, and they got fabulous rooms. One thing I noticed is they were already talking about football weekends. People are already calling, picking out that home weekend that, hey, I want to make sure I've got 2 nights to stay for whatever home game it is. They were talking about someone when they were talking about the BYU weekend. They wanted to be sure and get their reservations in. So if you're already thinking about football and weekends and tailgating and need extra room for those weekends, go ahead and call our friends at the Inn at the Mill, 479-443-1800. You're going to love your stay there. Friendly staff. That's, I think, what really sets them apart is the staff interaction is always great. So whether it's a concert coming up at the Amp, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or like I'm talking about a football weekend this fall, our friends at the Inn at the Mill can treat you to a great time. 479-443-1800. That's 443-1800 or online at inatthemill.com.
So I asked the question this morning about the pecking order of SEC baseball with LSU and Florida playing in the national championship tonight. I think most people would agree LSU is the premier baseball school, not just in the Southeastern Conference, but maybe the country. The Florida Gators trying to win their second championship under Kevin O'Sullivan. We'll see if that happens. It's their 4th championship series appearance since 2005. I would probably put Vanderbilt above Arkansas, kind of have to have the Razorbacks in that 4th slot. Now, I think what's interesting is this would be, if LSU wins tonight, the 3rd straight SEC West team to win the title. How much more difficult? We know it's already immensely difficult to recruit SEC baseball players based on the league, but how much more difficult is it to have 3 straight champions in your own division when you're going up against them player after player?
That'd be a good question for Dave Van Horn, because it would affect recruiting. I don't think it matters a lick on the field.
Exactly.
It might matter in recruiting, like you're saying. And does that draw a player in? I think the players, particularly portal players, are drawn in by your track record as the coach, the consistency this program has, facilities. I don't think anyone's going to beat Arkansas. And we talk about stadium and seats and suites, and that's not the facilities the players care about. They care about that pitching lab. They care about all those stuff, the performance center and the indoor that they've got. So those are the things that I think separate you and give you a chance always at the best players, particularly now portal players that are coming for 1 year. Are championships nice? Yes. Is Arkansas give you a chance to win a championship more years than not? Yes. and I would, if you look at it from an odds perspective, what are the odds of you winning back-to-back or 2 out of 3 years? Probably minimal.
That's fair.
So Arkansas's odds of winning the next title in the Western Division are probably better than the 3 schools we just talked about that have won it in a row.
I didn't think about that perspective, but yeah,
if that's the point, I just don't think these portal players, which are the difference makers, I don't think that's the biggest thing in their evaluation.
Championship, and I think it's more about like getting to Omaha as well, not just every player wants to win a national championship, of course, but the idea of just getting to Omaha, I know, is a big deal for a lot of these.
They want to fulfill their draft projection or improve it.
Yeah.
If they're already picked high in the draft projections, they want to maintain and then hone that skill. If they're late first round, second round, they want to go to a place that can help them be one of those top 10 picks. Arkansas can do that.
Last thing here on a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. Did not watch the Travelers Championship this weekend. Keegan Bradley ends up winning. He's a New England native, so happy for him. And he had not fared well when he was up after 3 days of golf, but he finally ends up when he said he got a text from Michael Jordan and Aaron Rodgers. I played my best round of golf I've ever played on Saturday and then followed it up with one of my worst.
Did you get a text
Sunday.
from Michael Jordan?
I did not get a text from
Aaron Rodgers?
Or Michael Jordan, but did have fun. The golf, I told myself now through August, once football season starts, I know it's really difficult for you and I to play golf, but I've convinced myself that I'm going to play golf every single weekend from now through the end of August. Yeah. Probably won't get any better, but still want to play.
Did you see Ricky Fowler? He finished 13th, which, that's not, a great number. He shot, 15 or 16 under? 16 under?
The last day?
No. No, not in one day for the championship. So 68, but had 3 of his 4 rounds in the 60s. So he's consistently getting his game back.
Bradley, I think, finished at minus 21. So again, Fowler was in
minus 23.
Okay, is that where he was?
Bradley. The 62, 63, 64, and a final round. Very disappointing 68.
Man, I wish I had a 68. I thought I was going to break 100. See, and the other thing about this, when you're playing golf, I always play better in a scramble, but I was really curious if I had just played my own ball on Saturday, I think I would have broken 100 for the first time ever if I would have just played.
You're not going to get
any
better till you quit this scramble business.
But it's so much more fun. And
no, you're trying to hide your game. That's what you're doing.
It's a combination.
Talk about Ricky Fowler. He had a 70 in the first round and a 60 in the third round. Talk about the tale of two rounds.
Tale of 2 days. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate everyone listening here on a Monday. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Tommy Smith for Bet Saracen.
Hey, if you're like me and enjoy putting a little something on your favorite sporting event, then get Bet Saracen. Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Download the app